to $17 an hour. We must pray for God to give the courage to stand and say, take your hands off Medicaid. Take your hands off. Take your hands off our voting rights. Take your hand off our living wages. Take your hand off our public education. Take your hands off of our lives.
We got people outside that are actually interfering. Is that what that is? Okay.
With the supremacy philosophy want to rule the country. We, with moral vigor and righteous indignation, must stand up and say no. We cannot be at ease in America. History is pushing us, the present is demanding us, and the future is calling us. I said in 2018 that every age must have a movement of people that will build a moral fusion movement that stands together.
I wonder if Anonymous is actually trying to like stop this hack of the thing.
Republican versus Democrat, but about right
I would be surprised.
Wrong and justice versus injustice. And with the help of the divine, we must unite more and more, declaring that we are black, we are white, we are Latino, we are Asian, we are Native, we are young, we are old, we are North, we are South, we are East, we are West, we are gay, we are straight, we are trans, we are America, and we ain't going nowhere.
That's right.
God, give us the strength. We will not allow a budget.
Yeah, they're really trying to shut this thing down.
And low wage workers of this nation.
They're really trying to shut this thing down. I don't think it's just the weather. I think somebody
not now, not ever.
I honestly think that somebody is actually trying to like turn this this live stream off.
With all that is holy and divine, we must not bow. We must reclaim our government. We must pledge ourselves.
I mean, it's not unprecedented. It's not even unheard of that people that live streams like this actually end up like getting interfered by outside presence.
Too often slipped in. We cannot bow. Finally, they are afraid of you, Trump and Musk, who want to be dictators,
saboteurs, and agents of chaos. Yeah, agents of chaos. Yeah, that's what it is.
And truth and justice. They are afraid of your unity and your diversity. Well, let's keep them afraid until they change. My friends, this is way.
So yeah, I was supposed to go like about 2 hours ago
for civilization.
To go to the rally over in my hometown. But there's like this huge rainstorm and it's kind of like raining right now outside my window. So it's not. It's unfortunate. I bought like all this equipment and stuff like that to go ahead like try to like record and stuff like that, but because of with how bad the weather is getting right now, it's like
it's not an option.
It's not. I have a $50 camera. Okay, I don't think it's gonna survive in the rain.
The power drunk neo-fascist extremists. We only bow to God.
We're called. There's supposed to be a protest here. Yeah. Like a lot of jobs, I think a lot of companies actually know that there's going to be like this huge worldwide protest.
So stand up to the technocrats.
Do we know if there's like any other protests that are just being recorded outside of the US? I know there's like
we must mobilize our righteous bodies.
I know there's like New England and
we must stand tall.
Greece and
not an option. It might take
France that are doing this.
But stand tall. It might take
I'm aware that Japan is also taking part in this too.
It might take
so
nonviolent civil disobedience, and they might arrest us, but stand tall. It might take mass pray-ins but stand tall. It might take class action lawsuits, but stand tall. It might take having a labor strike day on election day so that working people can vote. But stand tall. Stand tall in every precinct. Stand tall in every voting district. Stand tall in every city. Stand tall in every
yeah,
state.
so European countries.
Stand tall in love. Stand tall in justice. Stand tall and demand that they take their hands off.
I don't know about China. China has a bit of a problem with the Trump administration after the tariffs on them.
Bowing down. Say it with me. Bowing down. Bowing down. Bowing down is not an option. Stand. 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 Stand.
Yeah, well, even in Frankfurt, Germany, Jesus Christ, they're going crazy all over the place, aren't they? Yeah, they're all over the world. It's a huge event. I told like everybody like at my work,
Washington D.C.
like there was supposed to be like a huge protest, especially in Houston. Like that's my hometown, Houston. There's like a few other cities in Texas which I was kind of like surprised. But yeah, that's a thing. And one of my managers was like, he was asking, "There's a protest?"
Hello, America.
And he's like, "Yeah." And I basically told him, you know, it's like everybody's like protesting against Trump because of everything that he's done. And my manager's like, "Well, y'all guys voted for him. What'd you expect?" And I gotta be honest, he's kind of right. It's like, but then again, you know, like I said yesterday in yesterday's stream, you know, there's a lot of controversy about the whole, like, how the president got into office. And I think, honestly, I think a lot of what's going on right now. Oh, this guy. Oh, this guy's been making waves lately. Holy shit. He was in Cohen's videos, several of them.
They might even find a cure for that baffling worm and brain disease.
Worm brain disease?
The thing about science is it's true whether or not the Secretary of Health and Human Services believes in it.
Oh, he's making fun of RFK.
Maryland, hands off science. Anybody here from Virginia? The birthplace of James Madison, who wrote us the First Amendment. It separated church and state for the first time in human history. It gave us the right to speak freely, to publish freely, to worship freely, to assemble freely, and to petition government for a redress of grievances. As Dr. King said, we've got the right to protest for what is right without being arrested, deported, or fired. We got the right to read the books we want, including 1984 and The Handmaid's Tale, even if they now belong in the nonfiction section. We've even got the right to call the president deranged for crashing our economy, destroying $6 trillion of wealth, and turning my 401k into a 201k.
I don't know. I don't see a problem. I think the economy's doing just great.
Right to call the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of Mexico.
Isn't red supposed to mean good?
Madison's Constitution gave us the two most beautiful words in the English language: due process. Let's stand with Madison and Virginia and the people and Thomas Jefferson and all the people of the Commonwealth of Virginia, and let's say, hands off the Bill of Rights.
God, I'm really gonna get pissed off if they messed up the Bill of Rights. There's a lot of stuff in the Bill of Rights that protects a lot of Americans. It like supports a lot of things that we go through, especially the Second Amendment. If they fucked up the Second Amendment, I am gonna be severely pissed off.
Of American history brought down on the Capitol.
There's a few like gun YouTubers on this platform. I think it's what was it, Demolition Ranch and Colin Noir? Yeah, if they mess up with a 2A, my God, they're gonna flip.
And now Donald Trump says he wants to set up a fund to compensate them. Mr. Trump, if there's going to be a fund to compensate people for January 6th, we're going to compensate the police officers and their families. We're going to back the men and women of the blue, not the planners of the coup. Meantime, the people of D.C. have a valid, bona fide political grievance, not an imaginary one. They've not stormed the Capitol or tried to overturn an election or hang the vice president. They petitioned for statehood like 37 states before them. They did it the right way. So we say to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, hands off Greenland. That's an independent country. Hands off Canada. That's an independent country. Hands off
yeah,
Panama.
Greenland. Oh my God, Greenland got fucking pissed at JD Vance's visit. Oh my God.
Free DC.
It was not only that, they were making fun of the fact that JD Vance pretty much threw his wife under the bus for his comment about the whole deportation thing. He's married to a Muslim woman. That her country's involved with the U.S.'s debacle, right?
They showed America that organized people.
Oh my God! I wouldn't be surprised if JD Vance got divorced.
Defeat organized billionaires who want nothing but power.
That would be funny. I'm still waiting for that. I put out one of my videos saying, "Stay tuned for like the greatest divorce of all humankind."
For $1 million prizes. Stop trying to buy our votes. Stop ripping off our government and stop stealing our data. My friends, we're in the fight of our lives. But
oh yeah, the protests that are going out right now.
We are winning now. We are winning.
They're telling the people not to bring their cell phones or like their credit card or debit cards that are just like that have that little microchip in them. Because there's a lot of skimmers over there that work for Donald Trump and the his regime and stuff like that, so that they could dox people. So and amongst those people, there are actual like criminals that are just trying to like, get your data and stuff like that, just to steal your money, like petty theft kind of thing. So those type of skimmers are going to end up with the people who actually work for the government to try to dox you.
They sent him to a dictator's prison in El Salvador. The administration was forced to admit that his deportation was without due process and was, quote, an administrative error.
How hard are they going to try to outside interview this live stream? Because they're trying so hard.
Said, well, c'est la vie. Mr. Garcia would have to stay in that torture facility because the U.S. no longer had custody over him. But Judge Boasberg told him that if you've got the means to unlawfully deport someone, you find the means to bring them back. So
Yeah, they blamed it on a clerical error or something like that.
So now they're calling Judge Boasberg a radical left rogue.
There's a
the problem is he was appointed.
There's a political comedian.
President Bush. He was just as
there was a political comedian. Jesus Christ, I forgot his name. But he essentially said that there's like some people that are gonna get like disappeared.
Is completely unprecedented.
Because they're the types of people that he doesn't like they don't agree with him, and they get sent to El Salvador to essentially get like removed from the American soil.
Let's tell MAGA what democratic movements all over the world tell the dictators of the world. Hands off the courts. Hands off the courts. But you know, Trump's even trying to ban law firms and lawyers who represent Democrats from federal buildings and federal employment and to revoke their security clearances. Wait, he's shaking down law firms for hundreds of millions of dollars in pro bono work for his pro-Malum causes. Some firms have buckled under these threats, but hundreds of firms led by Wilmer Hale and Jenner and Block and thousands of lawyers led by Rachel Cohen are standing strong for the rule of law. And the courts are rejecting these attacks on the right to counsel and free speech. We're winning in the states. We're winning in the counties. We're winning in the cities and towns. We're winning in the churches, and not just with the great Reverend Barber. We're winning across the country. No moral person wants an economy crashing dictator who knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. We're winning in the universities, which know the difference between transgender mice and transgenic mice. And they know the difference between academic freedom and political tyranny. We're winning with veterans across America who know which side we were fighting on in World War II. And when they see Nazis marching down the boulevard, they don't see very fine people on both sides of the street. We're winning with people in the armed services who know that Donald Trump is turning our best friends in the world, like Germany and the UK and France and Canada and Mexico, into enemies by the way he's treating them, and he's turning the enemies of American democracy, like Vladimir Putin and Viktor Orban and Xi and Erdogan, into their bosom buddies. We're starting to win with the business community, which knows there's no prosperity with stupid trade wars against the whole world. There's no prosperity with stock market collapse and mass unemployment. There's no future with presidents who have the politics of Mussolini and the economics of Herbert Hoover.
Ew!
But now look, Elon Musk and the Silicon Valley billionaire mafia believe that high IQ tech supermen obsessed with eugenics and impregnating as many women as possible are destined to govern the rest of us. In other words, they're going to rule in their vision. They believe democracy is doomed, and they believe regime change is upon us if they can only seize control of our payment systems, our data, and our computers. Their guru, Curtis Yarvin, a.k.a. Mencius Moldbug,
What?
says American democracy
Moldbug?
is a failed experiment. He praises slavery.
What the
and
frick?
its
What is
positive
a moldbug?
effects for the African American community. He told the New York Times that the American people have to get over our irrational fear of dictatorship. On January 20th, the day when Donald Trump did not put his hand on the Bible, even his own Bible, available online to true believers for the low, low price of $59.99. On that day, when he swore to support our Constitution, we saw what a dictatorship of autocrats and plutocrats and kleptocrats and theocrats looks like. It's a twice impeached, multiply bankrupted, very stable genius standing in front of oligarchs Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and Jeff Bezos, standing in front a cabinet of billionaires and Putin followers who make war plans over the public signal app.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder about like what's going on with YouTube, like what's going to happen with YouTube and Twitch. Twitch specifically.
Musk, they may have access to artificial intelligence, but they've got no access to human intelligence. These founders of the Dark Enlightenment, as they call themselves, are no match for the founders.
We know that we know that people who support Trump and Musk are getting like promoted in the YouTube algorithm.
Who took down slavery and built Reconstruction, like Abraham Lincoln and Harriet Tubman and Thaddeus Stevens and Frederick Douglass.
Who else? Who are the major supporters on this platform?
Overthrow the heroes of American democracy.
Matt Walsh. The Daily Wire. We got the Quartering, I think. On YouTube.
Wrote a constitution.
What else? What?
The preamble says.
Who are the right-leaning YouTube?
People. We the who?
Who was that other good? That one.
Did you say the
Colin?
corporations?
No, Colin somebody, I don't know.
We the people.
We even got
Perfect.
black conservatives on this platform. We have trans conservatives on this on YouTube that supported Donald Trump. Surprise, surprise! Yes, I know there's a trans conservative on YouTube that said, "Oh, I'm supporting Trump and all this other stuff."
Do hereby ordain and establish the Constitution of these
And
United
we
States.
got a
That's our preamble.
We got a liberal trans, and then we got a conservative trans that are kind of like duking it out right now. It's what is it called? Blair White and Samantha Lux.
Congress of the United States of America.
So that's a thing.
All the powers of Congress, the power to regulate commerce domestically and internationally, which means it's Congress that controls tariffs, not the president, not Elon Musk. Their tariffs are not only imbecilic, they're illegal, they're unconstitutional, and we're going to turn this around. Congress has the power.
Tariffs are not technically illegal, but how President Trump is implementing the tariffs, yes, they are.
The law banning assault on federal officers. It's not a budgetary negotiation. It's not a suggestion to the executive branch. If we say spend money on childhood education or cancer research, you spend that money.
And this is why Donald Trump hired Lyndon McMahon. So he doesn't have to spend money on education.
The predominant branch, as Madison put it, and don't buy any of this fifth grade propaganda about three co-equal branches. First of all, co-equal's not even a word, okay? It's like extremely unique. But
Co-equal. Wait, that's a new word? Co-equal?
President. After all those pages about Congress, 4 short paragraphs.
I've heard of cohabitants.
1, Section 4, which is all about how you impeach a president for treason, bribery, and other high crimes and misdemeanors.
Yeah, bribery was a big one.
How come we can impeach him and he can't impeach us? What's the core function of the president, my friends? And teach your children to take care that the laws are faithfully executed. not twisted, not distorted, not maligned, not trashed. Take care that the laws are faithfully executed. All we say to Donald Trump is, do your job. And when he doesn't, that's what Article 3 is all about. All about. Marbury versus Madison says it's emphatically the province and the
There was a who was the president that
the law is.
it was a long ass time ago, but there was one president that actually did absolutely nothing
But that's a short-term
for his entire term. Like no bills passed, no policies passed,
It has always been
nothing passed. There was one
even with
president
all their
historically that did
gerrymandering, all their
absolutely
voter
jack
suppression,
squat.
even with all their
But just
billions
sit in his
of
house and,
money,
I don't know,
the people must, the people
tinkered
will
with his trains or
organize
something
to
like that.
defeat
I don't
them
know.
And take back the Congress next year. Will be heard in the town halls, in the union halls, in the church halls, in the state capitals and in the capital city, online and inline.
But at least back then, when the president did nothing, it was like nothing really happened. There was prosperity. But here, our president is doing nothing, and it's breaking everything.
Nobody's sleeping now, and nothing is going to stop the forces of democracy and freedom in America. No oligarch, no proligarch, no autocrat, no theocrat, no kleptocrat, no monarch from Moscow or Mar-a-Lago is going to turn us around. Fascism will not be the end of human history. Human history will be the end of fascism.
There's a lot of people that are trying to downplay the terms oligarchy and the word fascism and stuff like that. Right? You hear that a lot, okay? And there's like a lot of YouTubers and Twitch streamers on this platform that just like, I don't know what it is, but I think they're getting tired of all of this, so they're just like trying to turn a blind eye and ridiculing anybody who uses those terms of fascism and oligarchy. I know Asmongold's one of them.
Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the Affordable Care Act, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the National Labor Relations Act, the Fair Labor Standards Act, the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act, everything that their party of nihilists and authoritarians wants to tear down in the next few weeks, we are going to conserve and defend for future generations of Americans. We invite all Americans to join us, to join the party of democracy and freedom and solidarity. And an injury to one is an injury to all. A victory for any one of us is a victory for all. And I leave you with the words of two great democracy patriots. Hold them close to your heart. One, the great Frederick Douglass, born a half an hour away at the Wye River Plantation into slavery. He escaped from slavery to become our great freedom fighter during the Civil War and Reconstruction. And Douglass said, if there's no struggle, there's no progress. And the struggle may be physical, it may be moral, and physical, but there must be struggle. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has, and it never will. A message to you from Frederick Douglass and the people of Maryland. And my friends, I leave you finally with the words of the great Tom Paine, who my son Tommy was named after. And Tom Paine got here in 1774, 2 years before the Revolution. He fell in love with the promise of our land. He said, if these people live up to their promise and their ideals, the land will become an asylum to humanity, he said. Not an insane asylum. A place of refuge for people seeking freedom, from
What?
political and religious discrimination.
I don't know why he had to mention the insane asylum part, but okay.
By which he met
I guess he realizes there's dumb people trying to
reason together without myth and
I
dogma
guess
and
mix his words.
propaganda and disinformation. But you know, 1776
Yeah, exactly.
was a tough year, and the country was split. There were some people running around saying, "You can't beat the kings and the queens. You can't beat the autocrats and the monarchs. You can't separate church and state." For all of history, people have lived under thugs and dictators and kleptocrats like Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. But half of the people said, no, let's try something different. Let's pledge to ourselves our sacred honor, our fortunes, our lives, to build something different. And so Paine wanted to write a pamphlet to give people hope during the darkest hours. And he wrote this beautiful pamphlet called The American Crisis. I just want to quote a little passage to you. I'm going to update the language so it doesn't offend modern sensibilities. And Nancy Pelosi told me I had to do that. And she said it wouldn't offend Tom Paine because he was a feminist, and that he was. He was fighting for women's voting rights in the 18th century. But Paine said, these are the times that try men and women's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot
Was that an unintentional jab?
of their cause and their country. But everyone that stands with us now will win the love and the favor and affection of every man and every woman for all time. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered, but we have this saving consolation. The more difficult the struggle, the more glorious in the end will be our victory. Let's make that victory ours. Thank you, Indivisible. Thank you, America.
Please welcome Congressman Maxwell Frost.
Hello, how's everybody doing? This is about the fight for everything and everyone.
Where's your
Say
suit?
everything, say everyone.
You can't be a
everything.
congressman without your suit.
Everything.
Where's your suit and tie?
It is so damn good to see this crowd. Yo, we all know that we're living in some dark times. We see the foundations of our society, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the very safety nets that people have fought for generations to ensure that our country lives up to its promise, are being targeted by the billionaires and the oligarchs and the corporations. This insidious rise of authoritarianism is fueled by corrupt billionaires and mega corporations who believe that they have the right to control.
Is there anybody else covering this?
Our health care, to our schools, to our thoughts, to our very speech. Under the false banner of patriotism and freedom and a false
Hang on a second.
banner
I wonder if
patriotism. They would have us
I wonder if
believe
anybody else on
that if
YouTube
we
is covering
gave them
this.
all the control,
Hold on.
everything would be great. But breaking news, they've had the control, and look at where we're at right now. Massive wealth inequality in this country, where most of our people live paycheck to paycheck. And it isn't a new problem for generations. The billionaires and oligarchs have kept all this wealth and left us with the crumbs. But we say no more. In this moment, we all have a choice to make. As elected officials, we can't live in the world of what we can't do, but we have to live in the world of what we can and must do. I'll tell you, I had some friends come up to me and say, Maxwell, you should think about running for Congress. 4 years ago, I said, hell no, you're crazy. The crazy thing is, I didn't have all the power at the time. I didn't have all the money. I experienced homelessness during my campaign, and as many of you know, even after I was elected, I couldn't find a place to live in D.C. because the housing costs were too high.
236 people watching.
We won. 5.6K
viewers.
woke up and saw.
What about on Twitch?
Twitter
Is anybody else on Twitch watching
we
this?
woke up and saw on Twitter that a black man, George Floyd, had been lynched in broad daylight. We didn't have all the power, but we still took to the streets to say that Black Lives Matter. They didn't have all the power when a gunman walked into Marjorie Stoneman Douglas in Parkland, Florida, and murdered 17 students, children, and teachers. But the students rose up, demanded that we end gun violence, and the world didn't just watch, the world marched to end gun violence. I say this because a lot of times when you don't have all the power that you want, you use all the power that you got. And that's what we have to do in this moment. We need to use everything in our toolbox. We can't afford to brush aside any part of our movement. We need mutual aid. We need protest. We need direct action. We need a legislative strategy. We need to be in the courts litigating because I promise you, our opposition are not leaving any tools in their toolbox. They're using everything they have. And it's insane because there is such international solidarity in the right-wing fascist movement.
There's not many people watching this. Yo, they're downplaying this.
Brazil, funded by a lot of the same people and organized by a lot of the same people. But here's the thing. Their movement is run by fear. Trying to push us.
Yo, look at this. They're downplaying it completely.
The reasons we can't afford rent, the reason we can't afford health care, the reason we can't afford groceries is because of other people in our own communities. Yes, we know that this system is rigged and the status quo doesn't work for Americans, but it's not rigged against the billionaires. It's rigged for the billionaires and for the corporations. They are the ones hoarding so much wealth, we can't even imagine what it is. They're the ones cutting essential programs that help working families while giving themselves massive tax breaks that benefits nobody but themselves. They tell us that immigrants are stealing our jobs, but they're the ones shipping jobs overseas and hiring corporate lawyers to go and union bust. They're the ones that are screwing us over on the jobs. They tell us that trans people are a threat to our children, but they're the ones dismantling public education. They're the ones denying the climate crisis. They're the ones poisoning our planet. They're the ones doing nothing about the national public health emergency of gun violence. And they want us to believe that they're the patriots of free speech. But they're the ones kidnapping and disappearing college students across this country.
That's a big thing.
Just fighting for peace to
That's
ensure
a big
that
thing.
innocent people don't die. The message is simple, and I've been traveling the country. I went to Michigan with my good friend Senator Chris Murphy to a Republican district, and the message is simple. We're in this situation not because of our neighbors. I promise you, your bank account looks a lot more like your trans neighbors or your immigrant neighbors and nothing like Elon Musk's.
I'm going to the bathroom real quick.
In fact, we're all closer to being on the streets than having a bank account that looks like his. How do you think he got to where he's at? I have people who come up to him and say, Maxwell, why would they be stealing? Elon Musk is already the richest person in the world. He has enough money. The question is, how do you think he became the richest person in the world? And, you know, Elon doesn't like me. If you told me 5 years ago that the richest man on earth would be tweeting about me, I mean, it goes to show Elon's a great example that money can't buy you happiness, and money can't buy you a Wisconsin Supreme Court seat either. But I'll tell you, our way out of this is not to back down, is not to be silent, is not to be divided. Throughout human history, authoritarians, they're never satisfied with the power that they have. And so they test the bounds, they push the limits, they break the law, and then they look at the public to see if they're quiet or if they're loud. If we are quiet, if elected officials are quiet, then we are complicit. And we cannot be complicit in the tearing apart of Medicaid, of Social Security, of food stamps, of nutritional assistance, of the things that we fought for and earned. This is why Democrats in the House and across the country, we can't be and we are not the minority party. We must be the opposition in this moment. And then in less than 2 years, we will become the majority. And I'll tell you this, Elon Musk was on the news the other day saying, well, if the Democrats win, it's just going to be subpoenas and investigations. It's the one thing he's right about. You're damn right there's going to be subpoenas. You're damn right there's going to be investigations. Because when you steal from the people, expect the people to rise up at the ballot box and on the streets. Look, I'll end with this. I'm not going to be the one to sit here and say everything is going to be okay. Because to be honest, there's going to be a lot of people, and there's already a lot of people who are not okay, who are suffering from this authoritarian right-wing regime that is trying to have a billionaire takeover of our government. But the good thing is we are not alone. Not just in this moment and in this crowd, but I mean we're not alone in the grand mosaic of humanity and timeline of justice. We stand alongside the water protectors, the freedom fighters, the anti-war warriors, the labor organizers, and movements of working people throughout human history that have seen the world through the eyes of the most vulnerable and said, we are all together. We are not divided and we are not apart. And it's not going to be easy. And I know this coming from a movement. You know, I got involved in politics when I was 15 years old because I didn't want to get shot in school. I was a part of movement for 10 years and still part of the gun violence prevention movement. That the time when the most people give a damn about our issue is coupled when there's the most death and chaos. A movement when the country is paying attention to us. This is what's going on right now. I always tell people, the testament of an organizer is what you do when nobody's paying attention. But the testament of a movement is what you do when the world is watching. And the world is watching our country right now. There will be times when we feel discouraged. There will be times where we feel disappointed. But when those feelings overcome you, think about this moment. Think about our people. Think about our stories. And think about the people who came before us. And in my mind, I always think about the amazing Angela Davis when she said, I am no longer accepting what I cannot change. I am changing what I cannot accept. So to the people, can you accept cuts to Social Security? Can you accept cuts to Medicare and Medicaid?
Nope.
Can we accept the rise of right-wing authoritarians in this country? Can we accept them banning the books in our libraries? Can we accept them trying to ethnically cleanse our people from a land? Can we accept kids being mowed down in their schools? Well, it sounds like we have a lot of damn work to do. God bless you all. Let's continue to fight, and we will win. Thank you.
Please welcome Move On Executive Director, Rana Epting.
Hello, DC.
She's cute.
I'm Rana, and I'm with Move On. Who's a Move On member? Raise your hand. That's right, because at Move On, we believe in the power of the people. We believe in the power of collective action, and that's what today is all about. Look, we know Trump and Musk and the Republicans have been launching an all-out flood-the-zone strategy to overwhelm us with attacks on Social Security, Medicaid, on other critical services and benefits that we've earned, on attacks on our rights and our freedoms. They want us to feel helpless. They want us to be hopeless. They want us to feel alone in our concerns. Are we alone? Are we helpless? Hell no. Are we hopeless? No, because when we come together, we are powerful. And thank you for being here today. Look, Trump and Musk, they're doing everything to consolidate their power. You know that. They're firing tens of thousands of federal employees. They're threatening to get rid of more. They're trying to eliminate the Department of Education, leaving students, parents, and teachers out in the cold in favor of making their billionaire backers richer and richer. And now they're attempting to silence our neighbors in the workforce all across the country by taking away their voice on the job. Are we going to stand for that? But as we know, the working people united will never be divided, will never be defeated. And you're about to hear from some incredible leaders of unions here today. We'll be joined alongside with working people who've been directly affected at the hands of Trump and Musk. They're not just fighting for their members, they are fighting for all of us, folks. So please give a big, hearty welcome to the stage, AFL-CIO President Liz Schuler, NEA President Becky Pringle, National Nurses United.
I got a bag
President
of Pringles.
Kennedy,
I want to eat some Pringles right now.
President Randy Irwin and AFGE President Everett Kelly, along with their members.
Yeah!
What was that?
Wow, what a beautiful sight! Thank you so much!
Also, that guy's
Schuler, president of the AFL-CIO.
dude, your sign is upside down.
And I'm so honored to be here with all of you and with all of our leaders.
Your sign is upside down, bro. Bro, turn your sign upside down. Or right side up.
And nearly 15 million workers, but of every working person in this country. So listen, this administration
Oh no! Traffic!
They want us to think that these cuts are about a bunch of bureaucrats. That these cuts don't matter to workers and families across the country. Well, I'm up here today next to workers who are the human face of what is going on. The people who make our lives better, who serve our communities, and whose lives have been turned upside down.
You know, I wonder what the unions have to say about this. I'm not talking about the SAG-AFTRA union. No. They can go to trash. I'm talking about, like, the postal service unions. The medical unions, the construction unions. Maybe I could go as far down in the entertainment industry as Disney unions, right? That's about as low as I can go. Okay, I wonder what they have to say about all this, because this is kind of... I think Trump can actually go after these unions. Honestly.
Working people are. But the people I talk to every day, teachers, nurses, construction workers, engineers, sanitation workers, people with every kind of job and every kind
Wait,
of
is she... Oh, she is talking about the unions. Oh, okay.
We could not be
Oh, the man's side is finally right side up. Good job.
And I see it. I see it. I have not met one person. I've not met one person who says, yes, it makes sense for a CEO to make $260
Watch this guy.
what I make while I live paycheck to paycheck. I have not met one person who says, yes, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos need more tax breaks, and that money should come from...
Is he taking pictures, or...
Medicare.
I think he's just taking pictures. I don't think he's, like, videotaping.
I have not met one person who says, yes, please, or take a chainsaw to the jobs that my community counts on. The jobs that keep my food safe, that make my water clean. Get rid of the workers who care for our veterans, our heroes, when they come back from serving our country. It makes no sense. So to every working person here and everyone watching, I don't care if you're a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, do you want common sense from your government? Are you sick and tired of a government that is not of, by, and for the people, but of, by, and for the billionaires? Are you ready to do something about it? That's what I thought. They have billions of dollars. But what we saw on Tuesday night in Wisconsin gives me hope.
Oh yeah, the federal judge, the Democratic federal judge, yeah.
Our values are not for sale. And our rights and our freedoms are not for sale. So are you ready to fight? You ready to win? I'd love to have Shanice say a few words about her experience, and then I'll introduce our next speaker.
Thanks, everyone, for coming out. I just want to thank you all and let you know that I'm happy that you're in the fight with us. I may not get my job back, but I'm going to fight for the employees that are still there because they deserve it as well. And I'm going to make sure that everyone knows what's going on because when we fight, we win.
And now it's my joy to introduce an absolute fighter for our nation's kids, someone who protects not only our educators, our students, but all working people in this country, the president of the National Education Association, Becky Pringle.
The view from up here is magnificent. Of all the civil rights for which this world has fought and died for 5,000 years, the right to learn is the most fundamental. The freedom to learn has been bought by bitter sacrifice. So whatever you might think about the curtailment of other civil rights, you must fight to the last ditch to keep open the right to learn.
See, here's the thing that I have a problem with the whole, like, right to learn. Everybody has a freaking right to learn, right? Everybody does. And of course, honestly, Donald Trump is trying to get rid of the Board of Education. Actually, he has already. The problem is not the right to learn. It's that we don't have an education system that fully embraces all forms of learning disabilities or learning disorders. That's the biggest problem in the education system. And with Trump actually getting rid of the what is it called, the seat of education to let it bed, to get rid of it, that ability to educate people with learning disabilities or disorders has been stripped away. Remember, I remember this perfectly. The ability for a person with autism, okay, the ability for people to learn with autism and other disabilities.
Hands off our public schools.
True. It is that there's not enough funding going towards something like that. I think I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that, what is it? Pirate Software. He said something that was very interesting. That people with ADD or ADHD, for that matter, learn very well with an education that is designed in a way that it's like a video game. Right? So, right. So, you gotta turn... So, there's a video game that I used to play like a long freaking time ago called Math Munchers. Okay? It let me, you know, study times tables. It let me study division and just study, you know, other numbers and stuff like that. Through like a little... It's kind of like a little Frogger game. Right? And, you know, you pass the right engine, you pass the right things, you go to the next level, blah, 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 stuff like that. So it's in that realm. And there's a lot of people who have ADD and ADHD who want to know about history. Well, what is a perfect game for somebody to learn history? Assassin's Creed is also another game. So a lot of people got into, you know, other cultures all over the world, learn about their history because of Assassin's Creed. People are mathematicians because of Math Munchers. So why don't we have a education that has that level of entertainment and engagement so that we can learn? Yes. Yes.
120 counties, every one of them voted no to vouchers. They said loudly and clearly, we love our public schools. Hands off our schools. Hands off our schools. Hands off our schools. Hands off our schools. And after that victory, now they're worried that federal vouchers will take all of the funds out of our schools and give them to private schools. And who will be left to stand in those gaps for our babies? Educators all over this country who bear that burden every day. And those federal workers in the Department of Education, where we saw them being fired, we heard from them. Anthony, a veteran who told us, I put my life...
Okay, before I was rudely interrupted. Yeah, so... I got lost in the thought. Whatever.
Trying to roll back 6 decades of civil rights progress. They're peddling their private school voucher schemes to put money in the pockets of already obscenely rich billionaires. And take away money from the 90% of the students who learn in our public schools. And we know it's a scheme. We've already seen when states go to vouchers, academics decline, state budgets are slashed, and public education, our schools lose vital funding. Now you might say, Becky, why are they doing this? Yeah, I thought you had to. Well, you know, it fits right into any authoritarian's plan to strip away the freedom to teach and the freedom to learn. Because oligarchs know that to maintain a democracy, you have to have an educated society.
She kind of botched that logic. So, the thing with the education system, okay, the thing with the education system, why they're getting rid of it, is because it is a way for people to not fight back. So when you get too smart in something against an enemy that's completely stupid, by the way, who's a complete idiot, getting rid of the education system means that the kids are going to be more of an idiot than you. Right? They're going to be more of an idiot than you. They're going to be much more timid than you. The only thing that you have to show for it is fists and guns. Right? That's their authoritarian rule, right? Fists and guns. They hate smart people. They know that people who are like going to know what the heck is going on can follow the ability to see socially with non-verbal communication and verbal communication, how people use their words and stuff like that. They don't want people to know the hidden meanings of all these words that these people are saying, right? So that's why they're getting rid of the education system. To make people stupider than Donald Trump.
Until this country lives into the promise and the poetry of our Constitution.
And that's why we're fighting against Gen Zers, right? Gen Z is actually very stupid. They're very, very stupid.
All of us deserve that right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of justice. So we will continue to demand that you keep your hands
So that's why President Donald Trump actually ended up winning, was because of the stupidity of Gen Zers. They're not educated.
Children, our babies are depending on us. They're depending on us to be worthy of them. And now, from the National Nurses United, give it up for Kathy Kennedy. Thank you so much. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Kathy Kennedy, and I'm a registered nurse and president of National Nurses United. And, you know, union nurses have long fought for Medicare for all because we know that health care is a human right. And we know that health is not just about medical treatment, it's also about the world that we live in and the support systems we all rely on. Those include Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, the Department of Health and Human Services, and the Veterans Affairs Administration. Yes, this current administration wants to weaken and privatize those programs that have helped millions of people stay alive, housed, and cared for. And without these programs, vulnerable seniors, low-income families, people with disabilities, and veterans will suffer. Yes. And while they're attacking the social programs, they're also stripping away protected union rights from federal workers, including our VA nurses. 15,000 of them. No. Yes. They're trying to break our solidarity so that we can't hold them accountable. But guess what? We're not going to let that happen. The current administration wants a society where wealthful and powerful get richer while the rest of us struggle. They say that people should be responsible for themselves while they're handing out billions of tax breaks, subsidies, and bailouts to giant corporations. What do you say? No way. No way. So let's be very clear. Our nation's public programs were created for a reason. During times of struggle, like the Great Depression, the World Wars, and Vietnam, when seniors were dying in poverty, veterans were left without care, and millions of Americans lacked the basic services to live. Do we want that? Absolutely not. This administration knows. They know very well that these are very popular programs for voters. So they can't get rid of them overnight. So what do? They sneak in the night and they have a plan to turn these public programs into money-making systems for private corporations. Yeah. How do they justify doing this? First, they have to break the system, right? Slash funding, fire staff, change policy until the program no longer functions properly. And then private corporations swoop in, offering to fix it for a profit. Are we going to let that happen? Are we here to tell them hands off? We must stand up for a society that values people over profit, right? Our seniors, our communities,
That's what the tariffs are doing.
our veterans, we
It's really weird, but that's exactly what the tariffs are doing.
Hands off our union rights. Hands off. All right, so I am so happy and so thrilled to see all of you today. And now I would like to turn it over to another president.
I don't mind the unions of, like, Disney, post office, construction workers, medical union, you know, all those unions that have a function in society and is very beneficial to society. But as far as anything like SAG-AFTRA, yeah, they can go frick themselves. I'm gonna be real. There are unions out there that are just completely and utterly fucking useless. But there are unions out there that are beneficial to American society and America as a whole, right?
I know there's got to be some federal employees here. Thank you, federal
employees. And I know that there are unions that are getting lambasted right now because of the Trump administration, which is a terrible, terrible thing.
So as you know,
and I don't support that at all. 1,000,000%.
Absolutely destroying public services in this country right now. That's right. They claim to be making government more efficient. That is a joke, people. That is a cruel joke. They're doing the exact opposite. What they're doing is a recipe for disaster, not a recipe for efficiency. Now, this administration has fired or bullied into resignation 275,000 federal workers providing essential services. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Let me ask you a question. Are you okay with Trump eliminating essential services?
Nope.
Hell no. Hell no. Now, never forget this fact. 30% of the federal workforce are veterans. The biggest employer of veterans nationwide by a wide margin. You can't separate federal employees from veterans because there's so many veterans in the federal government. If you're doing it to federal employees, you're doing it to veterans. Okay? He's laid off 275,000. That means almost 100,000 veterans now are jobless because of what this president is doing. Boo. Concurrently, they're decimating the Department of Veterans Affairs. They're laying off 83,000 people that care for veterans. This is a 1-2 punch to the face of our veterans. Are you okay with that? Hell no. Hell no.
That's going to be a catchphrase.
Shame on Trump. Okay. Shame on Trump. Shame on Trump. Shame on Trump. Shame on Trump. And I'll make a point about this. This is an important point about the veterans. You can stand with Doge and Trump and Elon Musk, or you can stand for veterans. You cannot stand for both. Okay. Now make no mistake. The cuts to essential services, okay, the cuts that we're seeing to the workforce are decimating public services, unquestionably putting the American people in danger. Okay, we've seen cuts to nuclear regulators that they went back on. They told air traffic controllers to quit and then went back on it. We represent wildland firefighters. They're not hiring enough of them. Communities are going to burn. It's scary. Okay, examples all over government. Okay? Let me ask you a question. Are you okay with Trump undermining public safety? Hell no! Hell no! And in the last 10 days, Trump signed an executive order attempting to unilaterally and unlawfully end collective bargaining for over 1 million federal employees. We've never seen anything like that in this country, folks. Never seen anything like it. It is the biggest assault on collective bargaining that we have ever seen in this country. A critical First Amendment right protected by the Constitution. Are you okay with that? Hell no! Hell no! This administration is the worst. They sold us on America first, but they're making America worse. We are the ones that have to stop them. I'm so proud of everybody here. Don't stop. We never stop fighting for this country. And now it is my distinct honor to welcome to the podium my good friend, incredible...
Okay, so collective bargaining is the process in which working people through the unions negotiate contracts with their employers to determine their terms of employment, including pay, benefits, hours, leave, job health and safety policies, ways to balance work and family, and more. So what is essentially happening was... Essentially what's happening is... Essentially what's end up happening, if he gets rid of collective bargaining, that means he doesn't want people to have a work-life balance. He wants people to just work. Okay? He wants slaves. Basically. That's all Trump wants is pretty much slaves. If he gets rid of any of this, like the negotiation contracts and benefits and all this other stuff, that means that he wants a slave in the working class, and that's why he cut the TSA, the all those like programs that are around the world, because he doesn't want to have like a bunch of people working for families, right? Donald Trump does have a... People are going to be saying, oh, Donald Trump has a family. Yes, he does have a family. But his own family is like battling against each other in private, right? Well, it's kind of not no longer private because the one of the daughters has actually said that he went to a she went into an interview with a network, okay, saying that her father was this and that person, and within 24 hours, Donald Trump bought out the video and stuff like that and took it off the internet. And it's the kind of like chubby looking daughter that's sitting next to the sexy looking daughter at the church when they went to when Donald that infamous like priest and pastor that kind of like went all SJW on President Trump. It's that daughter next to her, right there. So you got the skinny one and then you got the fat one. So that fat one was the one that spoke out against the Trump family. Right? And she's not being very well taken care of. And he brings out his daughter as a trophy to say, if I can bully my own daughter, I can bully everybody else in the entire United States. So he's using her as a fucking trophy. That's essentially why he doesn't love his daughter. He does not genuinely love his daughter. He loves the other one, the more attractive one, in a very creepy way. I mean, you've seen videos all over the freaking internet that had Donald Trump make I guess you could say sexual harassing comments about his daughter. So that's a thing.
Hands off our contract. We'll stand up and say, hands off our democracy. Hands off our freedom. And we'll stand up and speak truth to power. Let me just tell somebody that might be listening that AFGE and the labor force, 15 million of us, we're going nowhere. We're going to stand our ground. We're not going to stand by and let you dismantle the agencies that protect American workers against greedy billionaires and corporations. Hands off. Let them hear you. Let them hear you. We ain't going to let them dismantle Social Security and steal the money that Americans have contributed toward their retirement their entire life. What do we say? We aren't going to let you cut 80,000 workers from the VA and take away our veteran benefits. What do you say? We aren't going to let them gut the agencies that keep us safe from the pollution and diseases. What do we say? Brothers and sisters, we know the actions of Elon Musk and Trump and their Doge billionaire buddies aren't about efficiency or national security. That's just an excuse they use. Now, they call it the Department of Government Efficiency. Let me tell you what I call it. Let me tell you what I call it, and I want to see if you agree with me. I call it the Department of Government Evil. Because it's evil to disrupt 9 million lives that are veterans for the power grab. It's just evil. It's evil to destroy the very system that ensures clean water and clean food. It's just plain evil. Now, this is what they want. They want power. Plain and simple. They want it, and they don't want you to have it. Their shock and awe campaign was meant to silence our voice and weaken our resolve and put regular Americans under the boot heels of unelected billionaires, destroying the American experiment in freedom and democracy that's 2.5 centuries old. And that's why AFGE has been in the courts, in the media, in Congress, and here with you on the street. And not only are we in the court, but we're kicking their behind while we're in the court. And we're going to continue to kick their behind because we're going to stand up for every wronged federal employee there is. We're going to continue to fight back.
I want to hang around with this guy. I feel like he's a very lighthearted individual.
The people gathered here today, all across America, this country is not going to let it happen. But let me be clear. This is not a marathon. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Today isn't the end of this movement. It's the beginning. And we got to leave here these events all around the country and continue to organize. We have to continue to raise awareness. Continue to recruit more people to our cause. As a union, as a movement, and as a nation, we are facing some hard challenges. Challenges that we never faced before. But let me tell you something. There's still no challenge too big for us to overcome if we work together. To every federal employee watching today, know this. AFGE and all the folk out here across the country have your back. Let me hear you tell them. We have your back. And we will speak truth to power. We will not be intimidated. We will not be silenced. We're here to fight. We intend to win because we stand on principles. Together, we'll stand strong against all attacks. Let me hear you say together. And together we'll protect the rights and the freedom of every American because we got the power. You know, we have power. The power is in we. Say we. We will stand. We will fight. We'll fight for righteousness. We'll fight for justice. Say we got the power. We got the power. So brothers and sisters, stay strong. Keep the faith. Hold on just a little while longer. Don't ever give up. Do not despair. Fight on. March on. Pray on. I heard the scripture say that weeping may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning. Say joy is coming. Joy is coming. Say joy. Say joy. Say joy. Joy is coming. Don't give up. Thank you.
Damn! I like this guy. He's got a very good vibe to him. He reminds me of me. Like, he's all about the fun. So, what's the point of him standing there? To what?
Please welcome Executive Director Rachel Carmona.
Hello, everybody!
LOL!
Where I'm standing, you can't even see the end of the signs. Shout out to everyone who came out here today! I'm having short people problems with this microphone. Let me hear you say,
Oompa Loompa!
if you have been to a march, a protest, an action, a call this year, hands off, hands off, hands off. I want to say thank you to the Hands Off Coalition, 5051 movement, and all the other partners who have been here throwing down since January and every week. Give them a shout. If you got here on a bus, if you used a bathroom, if you're safe, that is because organizers made it that way. And guess what? We're all organizers now. Shout out! This is the third national mobilization this year, and there have been thousands of decentralized actions all across the country in the streets, from Eden, Oklahoma, New York, LA, and here in DC. I'm telling you, all I can see is a whole bunch of people who are here to say, no, we will not go back. Hands off all of our communities. Hands off immigrants. Hands off immigrants. Chingatumaga over here.
Chingatumaga!
We are exercising today the people's veto on Musk,
Yeah!
Zuck, and the Broligarch writ large, who want a country ruled by
That's great.
billionaires, and they don't care what or who they bulldoze to make it happen. But here's the thing. We are the majority. We are the what? The what? Workers, students, parents, teachers, activists, women, and feminists. Are there feminists in the crowd today?
I'd rather... There's a war between feminists.
We are the
I'm gonna say this.
not the elites, and
They're scared
Okay,
that a
there's
movement
good
this large
feminists
can
and there's
gain their
bad
power, and
feminists,
they should be.
right? I don't like
Shut up.
bad feminists. I like actual good
Because
feminists.
despite all the
Okay,
nonsense that they've
the
gotten
good
up to
ones.
this year, and there has
But the
been
way
a lot
that
of
the
nonsense,
social
my
media
friend,
is portraying
we are still
feminists
here, and
is
our
a
numbers
small
are
portion of the
growing.
feminist regime right now. It's not a large part.
They
It's a
want
small
us to
part.
hear power
And
is,
they're
but we have people
what they're
power,
doing
and
is
people
that
power
they're
is the best
highlighting
power.
how horrible these
And we have the
people are,
energy to keep
and they're
up.
making it out like
We can't
every
just
single
outnumber
feminist
them,
is
we
like
have
this.
to
They're
outlast
not.
them, and we have to out-organize them. And you know what? I know that's asking a lot. We have to push past our fatigue and our fear. We have to push past the criticism of our opposition and sometimes even our friends, and that's difficult. But Black feminist author Barbara Smith often reminds me that it's called the struggle because it's hard. And I don't see people scared of hard work here today.
No.
That's who we are. We're regular people who
Hey,
just
hey,
stand up and
SAG-AFTRA.
want to be done.
Maybe I ought to take
There's
some
no
advice from this
cavalry
woman.
that is coming to save us. That's the bad part. The good part is we are here to save us, and we are enough. And I believe that we will win. I believe. Will y'all try something with me? If you've had moments where you felt hopeless, ready to quit, tired, didn't know what to do, give me heart in the air. Hands. I want you to look around and see all the people who think like you, who feel like you. And I want you to see all those people who are going to fill those hearts back up when you are tired, because we have to keep going. And we will be the ones who save us. The truth is that the strength of our movement is not measured by easy wins, but by the hard days that we show up anyway. So that's what I need us all to do. You did the hard part here. Look around. Look at this crowd, if you can even see. All we have to do is keep showing up. Movements are built with shoe leather. They're built with hard work, sweat and tears, stuffing envelopes. You never know when your thing, your action is going to make history. So we have to work hard. We have to work together. And that actually is what people power is, and that is how we win. Whose streets? Whose streets? Thank you so much from Women's March. We'll see you in the streets.
Now, the reason why they're not like they're not like viewing the people out there is because Trump is actually making these people disappear. Like if you see their face, if you have the opportunity to see like their face and stuff like that, people have the risk of like losing their jobs or going to like not maybe El Salvador, but like a different prison and get like assaulted and stuff like that. And sometimes people like just like
Please welcome
get
Executive Director
killed, basically.
Teresa Martinez Rosas from United We Dream.
What up, my people? Buenas tardes a toda mi gente latina. ¿Dónde estamos? A toda mi gente de habla hispana. Trump ha dicho que no quiere que hablemos español. Y le decimos, no, gracias. My name is Gracia Martinez Rosas. I am an immigrant. I am undocumented, unafraid, queer, and unashamed. I lead the organization, the most beautiful organization called United We Dream Action. We are the nation's largest network of immigrant young people fighting for queer rights, immigrant rights, and the rights of everyday working class people. So y'all look so beautiful. I wish you could be in this place. And there's so many of you. I want you to take a moment to say high five to your neighbor. Y'all have been here for a while. Say, hey, what's up, neighbor? We're doing this. We got
What's
this.
up, Mike? I was about to say the N-word.
I'm here today because this fight is about all of us. Not just the people standing here in this podium, but this fight is about you. About the people that you love. About the people that you miss. Those we lost. waiting for, our babies. We are facing a national flashpoint. There's a creepy cult of billionaires. Creepy billionaires that have bought their way into our government. They're so creepy that they think that they can declare power to make their own rules without accountability. They're so creepy that they think that they can do it without oversight. They're so creepy that they think they can do it without consequences. But this country is not theirs to buy. This country is not theirs to buy. This country is ours. It's the everyday people, immigrants, queer and trans people, immigrant workers and families, and our allies. Every single one of us sees ICE snatching our people off the street, throwing students, moms, dads, friends into mass detention camps here and abroad. From student activists demanding an end to genocide like Mahmoud Khalil and Rumeysa Öztürk, to organizers like Janet Vizguerra and hardworking people like Hilmar, a father from Maryland who was deported to the mega prisons in El Salvador. These kidnappings, they are proof that they are coming after all of us. All of us, whether we have papers or not. And I'm here to deliver a message. I'm Gracia Martinez Rosas. I'm the daughter of Luis and Elia Martinez, immigrants that did the most bravest thing to decide to make this country our home. If they were to snatch me or disappear me at any time, I want you to know that I love this country. That within its borders or outside of it, I will fight to defend the vision of our people. That within its borders or outside of it, we will not stop speaking out against what's happening in our communities. I want you to know if I'm disappeared, that I know that you'll show up for me and the millions of undocumented people here in the U.S. Am I right? Am I right? I don't tell you this to be scared because I'm undocumented and unafraid. I'm telling you because this is the reality and we have to be honest with one another. And I tell you this because all of us have to turn the rage that we are feeling into the power, to the transformations, and to the miracles that we deserve. So, do you want power? All right, repeat after me. Power. Transformation. Miracles. I want it. I need it. I got to have it. I don't know. We're here. I know you've been here for a while, but I need to feel the ground shaking around me. Are you ready? Power. Transformation. Miracles. I want it. I need it. I got to have it. I got to have it. So are we going to let ICE storm our cities? No. Are we going to let ICE storm our schools? Are we going to let ICE storm our hospitals? Together we say, hands off immigrants. Hands off DACA. Hands off students. Hands off queer people. Hands off our communities. This moment is not unique in our history. There have been many moments in our history where freedom fighters just like you.
Now, I get it. The whole... There's a disparaging... I guess a divided the opinion of what ICE can or cannot do, right?
People demanding an end to AIDS and HIV crisis.
People think that, okay, if you're here illegally, right, that ICE can actually hunt you down and stuff like that, right?
One of my favorite is by June Jordan.
But
Are you
there's
ready to sing
other
with me?
ways
And
to
while you sing
get
with me,
these
as much as
illegal
we're asking
immigrants
people to
besides
have hands
ICE,
off of the
right?
things that we love, we're putting our hands up because
ICE
we're ready to
is
fight.
okay.
We're ready to
Let
put
me
our
let me
hands
put
to
it this
work.
into perspective. ICE is supposed to be against people who are illegally immigrated to this country, who have committed crimes outside of the United States, and they're brought here and they do crimes in the United States, right? There is another due process that is essentially illegal immigrants that have not committed crimes outside of the US and have not committed crimes inside the US, right? It's not just people think ICE is the one that, you know, it can do whatever the fuck they want to, right? That's not the case. ICE is made for the troublemaking immigrants that are in this country, not for the peaceful ones.
We won't turn around.
Also, you're tone deaf.
We'll flood the streets with justice. We are freedom bound. Here are 3 things that I need you to do in the next months and years. The first one is join us on May 1st in a nationwide mobilization for immigrant rights. May 1st. The second is to join United We Dream Action by texting SQUAD to 78757. And the third is to keep looking for the light. Thank you so much.
Please welcome back to the stage, Move On Executive Director Rana Epting.
Oh, this guy is doing something very stupid. What the fuck is he doing? Isn't this part of like the website that said don't show the faces of these people?
Look, we're all coming together here because there's so many of us, so many people being harmed by the consequences of the callous, corrupt, and chaotic Trump administration. Boo! And as Trump is using every tool of the government to implement his far right-wing agenda at a speed which we have never seen before, we know he's doing it on purpose so that we can't keep up with the changes and that we eventually lose hope and can't fight back. And he's directly targeting and bullying. What do we say to bullies? Yeah. He's directly targeting and bullying the most vulnerable people in our country. He's trying to tell us that immigrants, our LGBTQ friends, and trans neighbors are making this, they're the reason this country is worse off. Fuck that! It could not be further from the truth.
Wow, okay.
LGBTQ people make our country better, stronger, and more beautiful every single day. It is my honor and privilege to welcome the inspiring Stella Keating, the first transgender teenager to testify before the U.S. Senate, and Human Rights Campaign President and friend, Kelly Robinson.
Whoa, what's up, good people? It's a beautiful day to defend democracy in them. I'm Kelly Robinson, president of the Human Rights Campaign. And more importantly, I'm black and I'm queer and I'm not going anywhere. Lesbian, gay, bi, trans, and queer folks, we are not going anywhere. We are standing thousands strong, millions strong today to tell them hands off. Hands off! Hands off! Hands off! Hands off our bodies, our families, our books, our ballots, and hands off our trans kids, y'all! This moment is not going to be defined by our opposition. It's going to be defined.
That's a hot topic of contention. The whole trans kids thing.
The courage of Cory Booker, who stood up for 25 hours.
Oh, that guy. Ooh, that guy was crazy.
The courage of those Wisconsin voters that stood up for democracy. Y'all, these are serious times that require serious leadership. If it's not going to come from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, it's going to come from people like us out in the streets, ready to fight for freedom, ready to fight for justice, ready to fight for liberation. Let me hear you. And nobody knows courage better than our young people, y'all. And I want you to hear directly from one of them today. She's a fighter. She's a truth teller. When she speaks, the world leans in. Give it up for Stella Keating.
Thank you, Kelly. 4 years ago, I became the first trans teen to ever testify before the United States Senate. They can't take that away from me. I was young, and I believed we were turning a corner. I believed that we would be protected, and I believed that we were seen. But today, the promise that I believed in feels like it's slipping just out of reach. Just yesterday, I had a TSA officer look at my ID, confused, and tell me, pretty sure that's you. That's what it means to be trans in America right now. And while the economy is crumbling and families are struggling, this administration wants you to think that I'm the threat. They want you to think that I'm the threat for visiting my doctor, for using a restroom, or playing tennis, or, God forbid, flying a plane. Donald Trump and Elon Musk will tell you that I don't exist. But I do. I exist. We all exist! Trans people are here and we're not going anywhere! We are not the threat, we are the future! We deserve to live in a country that sees us, protects us, and lets us thrive! So the question isn't whether we belong, the question is what are you willing to do to defend us?
Yes, yes, we see you, Stella. Yes. Yes. This moment that we're in, y'all, it demands more than outrage. It demands action. Because the attacks that we're seeing, they're not just political, they are personal, y'all. They're trying to ban our books. They're slashing HIV prevention funding. They're criminalizing our doctors, our teachers, our families, and our lives. This is Donald Trump's America, and I don't want it, y'all. We don't want this America, y'all. We want the America we deserve, where dignity, safety, and freedom belong not to some of us, but to all of us, y'all.
I'm gonna say this, like, completely. There is, like, what, more than 150,000 schools in this nation, right? There's literally 150,000 plus schools. I think a little over 200,000 schools in America. That's not including college. That's including colleges. But I can think of less than that with primary and secondary schools, right? So, jeez, let me turn off the screaming opening. So the thing is that they're focusing on just like when it comes to like trans rights and stuff like that, they're only focusing on like a few schools, right? And they make it like it's a total thing. Like every single school is doing this. Every single city is doing this with LGBT rights and stuff like that. Yeah, you saw the books about, you know, these that has like explicit illustrations and stuff like that. That's only a few schools in the entire nation. That's probably like around maybe, at best, maybe 100 schools that are doing that out of the 100,000 plus, maybe 200,000 schools in America. So you're gonna explode everything based on 100 schools or less, right? Or yeah, like about 100 schools or less. And this is like a major problem and stuff like that. Bro, it's just drama baiting, bro. It really is. And y'all think that the LGBT people is like a problem in the nation? No, it's not. Y'all think that the Negro community is a problem? It's not. They only focus on a few things. It's like how Australia cherry picked a bunch of anime to paint a picture that the entire anime industry is full of lolicons, or like people who like play GTA online, right? Who play GTA games are murderers and stuff like that. Are pilferers, are thieves, or something like that. And they pay attention to only a few people in that community. How many people have been accused of, doing heinous crimes that the kids say, oh, I learned this from GTA? 5, 10 maybe? Out of how many millions of kids? Come on, bro. And you all don't think that, okay, maybe it's the environment that they're in, right? Maybe that's why they did it. They think that everybody who plays GTA Online is going to turn out this way. They think that people who are these 100 schools that have these explicit books, everybody's like this. No, they're not. I turned out just fine. I have ADD, and I think I might have been, autistic the entire time. Am I a problem? I'm also trans. Am I a problem? Do I go out there and wear scantily clad dresses and stuff like that? No, I don't. I wear jeans and a t-shirt like any normal person, like any normal woman would. I don't go out there wearing like a mini dress with fishnet stockings and having my cheeks fall out while wearing a G-string. Come on, man.
Hey, mate. What if instead of destroying our democracy, we make sure every eligible vote is counted and communities have a voice in decisions that impact them? Now today, hundreds of thousands of us are gathering all around the country, and it is the beginning. We're going to take this energy and build on it, but we need to do it together. All of us have to do it because our Earth is worth fighting for. Because our democracy...
Oh yeah, the whole drill baby drill thing? Yeah. That goes... The whole drill baby drill thing goes up against all EPA regulations, right?
So, today we say, hands off our clean air. We say...
What's going on in Mexico? Hold on.
Hands off our clean energy. Hands off our public lands. And hands off our democracy. Thank you.
Please welcome President Sarah Parker, Voices of Florida, Vice President Cy Day Smith, Voices of Florida, Glow Sahai, Political Revolution.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for having us today. We heard there's like 100,000 of you, so you guys are freaking phenomenal. You're amazing for being here. Thank you so much. We really wanted to start off with a chant. So we are a grassroots organization originally. That is our course. So we are very big on the chant.
Oh, wow.
All the energy today.
Yo, Mexico is in it too.
No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump.
Hell yes!
I'm a little tall. I first want to introduce Glow, who is the founder of Political
Well,
Revolution,
I mean,
also a dear friend and a national
that was a little
coordinator
bit too
with
extreme.
51. Make some noise.
They could have left the whole KKK thing out. I mean,
I've been organizing with 5051 for 3 months since Trump became president, but it feels like 3 years. I first started organizing with Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign 8 years ago. Bernie taught me the importance of organizing with your community and standing up for what is right. He made me realize how wrong things are in this country. He talked about oligarchy and what kind of things can happen in a country where the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. Where greed is incentivized and made legal. Now we have oligarchs in charge, and we have seen the kind of damage they've done. Corrupting our democratic processes.
oh my God, it's people like these that ruin that ruined it for the rest of us.
Widening the gap between those who have and those who have not.
Yeah, it's get these people out of here.
Filled with hope. I see
They don't need to be here.
passionate and ready to fight for a better tomorrow. Together, we have the power to enact change, to fight this growing inequality and reclaim our democracy. So what do now? We organize, we educate, we mobilize, we stand up, not just for ourselves, but for our neighbors, our community, and our future generations.
Okay. You know what this reminds me of?
It won't be easy. The road ahead.
Remember the guy that was that kind of like infiltrated the what is it called, the Grammys and stuff like that, and made that like Hassan or like that Arabic chant or something like that. Yeah, he wasn't supposed to be there. This group of people, I don't think is supposed to be there. These are like the social media nut jobs.
We must demand change, and we must refuse to be silent until we achieve it. Thank you, each and every one of you, to the 5051 organizers and organizers of every banner, for your commitment and your courage. Together, we will make a difference. This movement is bigger than any one person. Together, we can change this country. Thank you so much. Next, we'll have Cy Day Smith speaking, the Deputy Director of Voices of Florida. Thank you. Oh my God, there's so many of you. And you know what? Y'all are just the beginning, because there are people out today marching in 5051 protests all over the nation, in cities everywhere. There are thousands upon thousands. Yo, my name is Zyde Smith, and I am the Chief Deputy Director of Voices of Florida, a national coordinator with 5051. Now, I'm sure many of y'all have heard about Florida. You'll probably know we've been dealing with a lot of this for a long time. A lot of people have been joking that Florida's kind of that the United States has kind of turned into the Florida of the world. So imagine what it's like to be the Florida of Florida right now.
You. Wow. Oh my God. You are so sad. Why do you have to ruin a good vibe? Oh my God. There's always gonna be one, isn't there? Oh my God.
Florida has been battling in our state for reproductive justice, equitable education, healthcare access, and LGBTQIA+ rights for ages now. A lot of folks wrote Florida off in this nation, just like a lot of people in the world are starting to write off America. But our problems are everybody's problems, and that's how we wound up here today. So we are so grateful to be sitting at the table with 5051 to combat these issues on a national level with new activists like yourselves to give y'all access to the resources that we didn't have when we first started. Y'all, the American dream is dying, and I don't say that with joy or arrogance. I say that with mourning for the future that we all longed for as Americans. The American dream is the notion that with hard work, success and prosperity is accessible to everyone. It's faith in that dream that brought countless families to immigrate to the United States. And it is because of that dream that we are all here today, descendants of those immigrants. That dream is turning into a nightmare. Today, Americans have the highest level of income inequality in the rich world. And in the past 20 years, Americans have experienced the greatest increase in that income inequality in the world. And that's not a mistake. That is by design. We are experiencing the death of the American dream in real time. And it's not only dying, it is being violently murdered in front of us. The ultra-wealthy are not merely accumulating wealth, they are stockpiling it in obscene amounts while watching the nation fall into economic collapse. They have created a system in which they amass absurd net worth on the backs of hardworking, impoverished Americans. And what they don't want to tell you is that the system only works if they maintain control over the workforce. We are being systemically isolated from the rest of the world.
There we go. There we go. That's the troublemaking word.
Air travel has been made unsafe. And make no mistake, the president knew that tariffs would cripple the economy. That is exactly why he passed them. By spiraling our nation into severe economic collapse, Trump is ensuring that low and medium income Americans will never be out from under the boot of the wealthy elite in this country. We are in a crisis in which economic instability, climate change, and authoritarian overreach are feeding into each other to create a system in which the average American cannot possibly thrive. If billionaires, not to name names, raking in millions per day wanted to actually solve these issues, they would. But they choose to instead hinder progress to ensure that they continue to stay at the top. This is why they are canceling research on climate change. This is why they are dismantling education systems. And this is why they are privatizing Social Security. What's worse is they don't want to be held accountable. And that's why they are placing blame on our most vulnerable Americans, immigrants and trans folks.
True.
The average American will never be affected by the existence of a trans athlete. Yet that is what they want our attention to be on. You know what we are affected by? Hunger. Rates of death by starvation in the United States has more than doubled since 2018. It is time to wake up, America. It is time to remind the grotesquely wealthy that we are more than just cheap labor. We are human beings. We are the backbone of this country. We, the people, are the future of the American dream, and we, the people, are taking it back. Again, I'm Side Smith, Deputy Director of Voices of Florida. Thank you so much for being here today. And I am very, very excited to introduce my Executive Director and friend, Sarah Parker.
I want you guys to do a little chant. There are organizers that have never organized in their life right now in the streets. When I say 50-50, I want you to say one. 50-50. 50-50. Parker. I am the Executive Director of Voices of Florida and a 5051 National Organizer.
It sounds like a freaking chipmunk. Her teeth is a chipmunk.
Let me be clear. 5051
Ding!
is not just a movement, it is a declaration of independence.
Okay. My bad.
We have no leaders, and we are
Such a terrible person.
values
And
people across this land who dare to dream, hope, and to believe in a better tomorrow, a better world, and a better America. 50 states, 50 capitals have now turned into one movement. The 5051 movement is the American people. It's you, the person standing next to you, your friend, your loved one, and the people you are fighting for. We will most importantly continue to fight for our Constitution, fight to end executive overreach, and we the people will veto Project 2025. What started as a single post on Reddit by a user has now grown into a full-blown movement. From the smallest whispers of dissent to the loudest roars of defiance, 5051 is powered by the hope, the work, and the dedication of every state, every city, and every voice. We are a movement and a force, fueled by the unshakable belief that we deserve more.
no, you don't deserve more. You deserve better. That's a poor choice of words. That's a poor choice of words. You don't deserve more. You deserve better, but not more.
They seek to rip apart our Constitution, bully other nations, destroy our livelihoods, and turn neighbors against neighbors. But most of all, they seek to unravel you. They want to steal your dreams, extinguish your hope, and erode your faith. Their goal was never simply to capture the White House or subvert our Constitution. It was to break us, to leave us hopeless, exhausted, and fractured. But I'm here to tell you, we will be damned if they succeed. Because we will not be broken. They will not destroy our faith because it was never theirs to destroy. We will not tolerate the eradication of our First Amendment rights. Our voices will not be silenced. We will peacefully dissent, as is our right, and we will not allow anyone to strip us of the freedoms that we hold dear.
How long has this been going on? 2 hours?
Hope courses through the very veins of this nation. It is embedded in every
These protests are supposed to go like 3 hours long, right?
Hope transformed this country, and hope will carry us forward.
We got about another 45 minutes. Might as well go on to the 3-hour mark.
They will not destroy our dreams because
and then we'll move on to something else.
Lived and died for the dream of freedom in this nation. And I'll say this with my last breath. Their sacrifices will never be in vain. Their dreams, our dreams, live on in each of us. And we stand here today across the country, shoulder to shoulder, in a critical mass to fight against every attempt to shatter what has been built. Understand this. This is not a sprint, and it never has been. It is a marathon. Long before any of us were born, long before the movement, before they thought that they could seize control, this battle was set in motion. It was set in motion by the brave people who had long fought and died for a better America. It is now our turn to carry that torch, and we will do that with honor. And we are armed with the lessons of their struggles, the victories they won, and the unwavering belief that America can always become better. The fight for freedom, equality, and justice has never been easy, but it has always been worth it. And in that spirit, we rise together with all of these amazing organizations as not just a movement, but a coalition under one simple truth. This is our civil rights moment. This is our call to action. It is our power. It is our voice. It is the essence of who we are and who we've always been. A people who will be damned if we are silenced. They will never break us. They will never steal our future. We are the movement, and with hope and faith, we are unstoppable. We must and we will save ourselves. Because reality check, no one is coming to save us. We the people will never stop fighting for the country we deserve. You are, I am, we are all 50-51. Before I go, I do this at a lot of different protests, and I did this when we lost Amendment 4 in Florida, which was the abortion rights ballot initiative. I want you to turn to the person next to you, and I want you to say, you are loved. You are resilient. And you are important. We have a long road ahead of us, so remember, joy is resistance, hope is resistance, self-care is resistance, we are the resistance. And I have one message to the administration. They say America first, I say balls in your court, because America is right here and we're knocking at your door. Thank you.
Okay.
Please welcome Executive Director Sarah
I feel like she made a lot more sense than the other two. The other two just completely ruined it.
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Higdusky and I am the Executive Director of Win Without War, a movement of 200,000 strong across the country, and I am here today to tell Elon Musk and Donald Trump to keep their hands off our families. Donald Trump tried to tear my family apart. When the Muslim ban first came down, I was pregnant with my first child and terrified that my mother would not be allowed in the country because she, like me, simply happened to be born in Iran. And I want to say thank you to every single person who showed up today, because it was because of protests just like this, as well as legal action from our movements, that my family was okay. That said, there are so many others who are not. Because Donald Trump wants us to believe that families like mine and families like yours should have to suffer, be separated, or even die because of his warped notions of national security. Donald Trump claimed that it was because of national security that Mahmoud Khalil was abducted in front of his wife, who was 8 months pregnant, and shipped off to Louisiana because of his free speech. Donald Trump claimed that it was because of national security that Romesa Öztürk, a PhD student, was abducted by masked agents and shipped off for daring to publish her opinions. Donald Trump claims that it was because of national security that immigrants are being arrested and shipped off to mega prisons in El Salvador run by an autocrat. And one of the people he shipped off was Kilmar Abreu Garcia, a dad who lived down the road in Maryland who came here to flee gang violence. Donald Trump tells us it's a matter of national security that Bibi Netanyahu ripped up the ceasefire and is now back to slaughtering and wiping out whole families in Gaza. Now let me be very clear. Not a single person here is more safe when parents in Gaza have to dig with their bare hands through rubble, hoping that their kids are alive. Not a single person here is more safe because the families who lost loved ones and
there's a lot of like misinformation about this this subject that she's talking about.
Putin, when he takes away critical HIV treatment from so many in need, when he lets food rot in warehouses instead of giving them to people, he makes every single one of us less safe. That's why I'm here today to say hands off our families. Hands off our students. Hands off our neighbors. Hands off aid. And hands off Gaza. I want you all to remember that from South Korea to Brazil, we have seen time and time again the power of movements just like this one and their success in pushing.
Oh yeah, Brazil's a big one. Brazil is a fucking big one. Not many people are educated about the whole Brazil incident. I'm wondering if I should do like a video about that.
As we get it done. Thank you.
Please welcome Kyle Lewis, Vote Vets.
He reminds me of freaking Bob Ross.
You guys look fantastic. I wish you could see this. Great work on the signs, too. You guys did a fantastic job. You showed out today. Hey, so it's great to be here with so many of you beautiful, smiling people. My bad. My name is Kyle Lewis, and I'm here with Vote Vets, the first and largest organization for progressive veterans in this country. I'm a veteran, a father, a Medicare beneficiary, and a stage 4 cancer thriver. So 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with an aggressive stage 4 cancer, and I was told I just had weeks to live. My doctors recommended I begin an innovative immunotherapy treatment. This treatment involved experimental drugs, which were part of a clinical trial funded by NIH through Johns Hopkins Hospital. Absolutely. Shout out NIH. You did hear me say were there. I use the past tense because that's no longer the case. The counterfeit king and his jackass jester have taken their chainsaw to NIH funding and jobs. They've hacked apart the Department of Veterans Affairs, disrupting vital health care to veterans like myself. And they've shamefully fired critical health workers. They've wantonly slashed money for clinical trials and other crucial medical and scientific work which leads to breakthroughs like the drugs that saved my life. Drugs that in many cases are no longer available.
It's gonna be a very hard video to find because now they probably deleted it or something like that. I don't know what it is, but there was a video circulating about Donald Trump when he went to his what is it called? Well, Veterans Day, and then he went to that like huge U.S. memorial about the was it the. I can't remember if it was the World War II veterans or the Vietnam veterans. But he blatantly said on camera, and people heard this, that these people don't deserve our respect because, or like these people are cowards because they died.
I was and remained extremely lucky.
Now, I might be paraphrasing a little bit, but that was just basically the gist he said.
My life, and they're the only reason I'm standing up here speaking to you today. They're the only reason my young children got more time with their dad.
I still remember him like standing over that memorial and just like him saying that was kind of crazy.
I won't be so lucky. All across our United States, we have family, friends, neighbors, and coworkers who have suffered through cancer and other deadly diseases. We know veterans who depend on VA healthcare. Our lives are now at greater risk because my life-saving treatment and others just like it have been destroyed by this administration. Funding for medical and scientific research is a core government function. It will not and cannot be replaced by private companies. We've seen what happens when we do that. We get the Sacklers and the opioid crisis. We get skyrocketing insulin prices. We get Martin Shkreli and unobtainable HIV treatment costs. I did not vote for the felonious Pharaoh, and no one voted for his wannabe Willy Wonka, both of whom are destroying our livelihood. To them we say, hands off medical research. Hands off science. Hands off Veterans Affairs. Hands off Medicare and Medicaid. And hands off our services. Thank you so much for being out here today. You guys look beautiful. I love all the signage. And remember, this is what resistance looks like. Like the man said, somebody got to do it.
Please welcome Representative Catherine Clark.
Oh, it is such a beautiful sight to see over 100,000 patriots.
100,000?
So I'm the whip in the house, and I count the votes and make sure that we stay unified. And I want to tell you, you are putting on one hell of a whip operation here. You are not just saying hands off. You're not just standing up for your family and your community. You are the patriots standing up for our country. This is all about all of us versus the billionaire class and the politicians that they have purchased. This is about a Republican Party that has not betrayed just you, but the very people who voted for them. So we say to them, hands off our Social Security. Hands off our Medicaid. Hands off our public schools. Hands off our child care. Hands off our science and research. Hands off our veterans' benefits. Hands off our civil rights. Hands off our bodies. And hands off our vote. We do not want a government of, by, and for the billionaire class. And we want to make sure that you are heard on the other end of this mall, at the Capitol. And right over there at the White House. And we're going to tell them, we see your cowardice. We see that you have chosen power over our country, over democracy. And we're here to tell you, we're not going to stand for it. What we're going to do is stand together against the lies they're telling us every single day. Against the fascist lie that our bodies are not our own. That non-white means non-qualified. That billionaires are worthy of dignity more than working families. The lie that our children should go to school hungry and that our seniors should die in poverty. So these have been desperate times, and we can get full of despair. That's the strategy. But I'll tell you, look around. Our power lies in our number. So we're going to keep up the fight, and we are going to build a future that is worthy of our children. Thank you for being here.
There's a lot of like VTubers and YouTube, Twitch streamers out.
Co-President Rob Weissman, Executive Chair Norm Eisen, State
Especially
Democracy
Yuko.
Defenders Action, National Campaigns Director Anu Joshi from ACLU.
Hey y'all, we are the litigators! With our big coalition of hundreds of democracy and civil society groups, labor and federal employees, and ordinary folks like the over 100,000 of you! We have gone to court from San Francisco and Seattle to New York and New Hampshire. And we and our coalition have won. More than
I have a feeling Yuko EX is at the protest.
stopping Trump and Musk and their cronies.
I genuinely think Yuko is at the protest.
The judges have been Democratic appointees and Republican appointees and independents. And do you know what they have said? Hands off my Constitution! Let's join them, and let's say it loud so they can hear us over in the White House. Are you ready? Hands off my Constitution! That was pretty good. I was going to ask you all to do it a second time.
That haircut is terrible.
We have won those cases by working together as a coalition, all the thousands of us. I love you too. My organization, State Democracy Defenders Fund, went to court to stop Musk and Doge on the very first day, the very first case brought, with Rob and his colleagues at Public Citizen and Labor. And then later, we were ready. Later that same day, we went to court with Anu and the ACLU and her colleagues and brought the very first case on January 20th, saying, Donald Trump, you can't choose which babies born in this country are citizens and which not. The Constitution made that choice, Trump. And since then, we won that and dozens more the coalition did. And you know what? Trump and Musk can't stand all that losing. That's why. Yeah.
This guy reminds me of like a Family Guy character. Why does he remind me of a Family Guy?
The lawyers and the law firms, shoot, they're lashing out at me. Donald Trump has removed my security clearance 3 times. 3 times. I don't know if it's a mental capacity thing and he just forgets that he did it, or if he takes it away and then when he loses again, he says, turn it back on so I can feel better about all the losing. Hanu, what do you think?
How we feeling? My name is Anu Joshi and I am with the American Civil Liberties Union. In the just over 2 months since Inauguration Day, the ACLU has filed over 30 lawsuits against the Trump administration for their extreme, cruel, and illegal actions. And we are winning, and we are not slowing down. But the truth is, while fighting and winning in court is important, we all know it's not nearly enough. We need the power of the people. And together, we must demand capitulate to the Trump administration's threats. The Trump administration's attacks on our right to dissent are the biggest threat to the First Amendment since the Red Scare. The unconscionable and unconstitutional arrests of international students and scholars should alarm every one of us. ICE has illegally snatched people from their homes and neighborhoods, threatened their legal status, and sent them across the country with no notice to their loved ones or their lawyers. All of this in direct retaliation for constitutionally protected speech. The government cannot punish us because they don't like what we say. That's not my opinion. That is central to the Constitution. One of those students that was rounded up is our client, Rumyesa Öztürk, a Tufts University student who is illegally accosted and arrested outside of her home by plainclothes federal agents and then sent over 1,000 miles away to a for-profit private prison in Louisiana. And all of this terror inflicted because she co-wrote an op-ed for her student newspaper. That's why the ACLU of Massachusetts, CLEAR, and Masa Kababi are standing with Rumyesa in court in defense of her First Amendment rights. The government cannot punish us because they don't like what we say. I want to end with a statement from Rumyesa that she shared with her legal team earlier this week. I am a PhD student working with children and youth. We know that injustice in the world and systemic brutality towards people of color has long-lasting negative effects on children, youth, and other communities. Writing is one of the most peaceful ways of addressing systemic inequality. Efforts to target me because of my op-ed in the Tufts Daily calling for the equal dignity and humanity of all people will not deter me from my commitment to advocate for the rights of youth and children. And we cannot let it deter us from fighting for the future of this country.
Hello, my friends. I'm Rob Weissman with Public Citizen. And as you have heard today, and as you know, we are living under the most lawless, Constitution-trampling administration in American history. And so there's nothing more immediately urgent than for us to go to court and beat Trump again and again and again over his illegal and unconstitutional actions. And we have to do it because it's not just about a Schoolhouse Rock moment. It's because people's lives are at stake. It is his illegal actions that are causing a humanitarian disaster around the world. So people are going to die from malaria and TB and preventable disease for no reason. It is his illegal action that is paving the way for financial fraudsters, for credit card scams, and big banks to rip us off. It is his illegal and unconstitutional actions that are rolling back the rules that give us clean air. It is his illegal and unconstitutional action which is racing us towards climate catastrophe. It is his illegal and unconstitutional actions which are rolling back core racial justice programs. It is his illegal and unconstitutional actions which are stripping away our free speech rights. It is his illegal and unconstitutional actions which threaten this nation's labor movement and the right of workers and the federal government and elsewhere to organize collectively. So we have to go to court, and we have to keep beating him, and we're going to do that. But, let me tell you this. We are not going to win all the time. We are going to lose cases that we should win. And if we won every single case we brought, it wouldn't be enough. It wouldn't be enough to roll back this authoritarian steamroller we're facing. There's only one thing that's enough to face down this authoritarian moment. And that is this movement here today. That is us here, more than 100,000 of us here right now, more than 1 million of us across the country, more people watching online, people who can't join because they're scared, joining together. So it's together we say when they come after our Social Security.
I'm not scared. It's just that it's fucking raining like cats and dogs.
When they come after our
right now.
Medicare as a movement, we say, hands off. When they come after our free speech rights as a movement, we say, hands off. When they come after our labor unions as a movement, we say, hands off. When they come after our democracy as a movement, we say, hands off. That's how we're going to win. Hands off to Musk, hands off to Trump, hands off to authoritarianism. But hands open to each other, my friends. Hands open in embrace of each other. And hands together in solidarity. Hands together in love. Hands together in community. Hands together in empathy. That's how we beat autocracy. That's how we beat oligarchy. That's how we beat Trump. That's how we send Musk back where he belongs. That's how we rescue our democracy. Together, hands together, hands together, hands together, hands together, hands together.
Yeah, he definitely is a Family Guy character. What the fuck?
Please welcome Interim Executive Director Portia Allen Kyle, Color of Change.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Portia Allen Kyle, and I have the honor of leading Color of Change. We're a
Wait, watch out for this one. This might be another one that might ruin the vibe. Like those 3 ladies earlier who were from Florida. Careful with what you say.
To hold our government accountable to take action on solutions for us. I wish we were gathered here under different circumstances, but 100,000 plus people here and millions of folks across the country coming together to stand up for our future is a beautiful thing. Because there is a lot to celebrate about a future that we are fighting for. We're here to tell those in power to take their hands off our futures, their hands off our economic vitality, to take their hands off our democracy. And we've seen what they're willing to do in this fight. They're willing to rob our families of stability and opportunity, all to protect the interests of the wealthy and the well-connected. They're willing to steal the dignity of our elders by plundering Social Security, treating a lifetime of hard work as expendable and disposable. They're willing to gut the jobs of government workers who keep our communities running and keep our communities safe. consolidate power and profit. And this is just the latest chapter in a story in a long history designed to strip Black communities, Indigenous communities, Latino communities, queer communities, and our disabled brothers and sisters from our power, our purpose, and our possibility. But they can't. And we won't let them. The goal of this administration's agenda is predicated on anti-Blackness and a neo-segregationist agenda and approach that is seeking to erase us and erase our history. And while they seek to break us to embolden themselves, I'm reminded of the words of Alice Walker, prolific writer, Black womanist thought leader, who said there are those who believe that Black people possess the secret of joy, and that it is this that will sustain them through any spiritual or moral or physical devastation. And as a Black woman who has experienced the cruelties and injustices of this world, but who will not let it break me, I know her words are correct. She says resistance is the secret of joy. And that's something I want everyone here to remember today, because there's something that is viscerally satisfying when we say absolutely the fuck not. We must remember to find joy even in the darkest of times, because our joy is resilience. Our joy is defiance. Our joy is the sustenance that keeps us fighting for freedom and justice. And that joy and that motivation will take us a lot further than the hate that fuels them. Because this isn't the first time that segregationists, bigots, and the privileged wealthy elite have tried to steal our joy. And so shout out to all of us that work for a living. Shout out to all of us that know adversity, that have experienced it throughout history, and yet have found joy. Found joy in community. Found joy in togetherness. Found joy in the collective imagination and fighting for a just and equitable world that we just haven't experienced yet. And as always, it will be Black communities, communities of color, queer people, disabled folk, and our allies who are on the front lines fighting for our freedoms. And so we tell people in power, hands off. Let the words, let the community, let the joy to be found today sustain you, nourish you in the coming days, months, and years fighting this terror. But it can't storm forever. Remember that joy is the lifeblood of resistance and defiance in the face of evil. That dancing, creating, and I see the signs, I know y'all are creative. That marching, that protesting, that standing up against this neo-segregationist tyranny and authoritarianism, that we will continue to say hands off.
Okay, for a second there I got a little scared. I thought she was going to say the neo N-word.
With joy. Thank you.
Please welcome Gabriel Eaton, Planned Parenthood.
Hello, beautiful people. My name is Gabe, and I'm from La Crosse, Wisconsin. That's the Wisconsin where the richest person in the world spent millions of dollars trying to buy a state Supreme Court seat, and he failed. Can I hear it for all the Wisconsinites defending democracy? Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am Black. I am Filipino-Japanese, second generation. I'm a disabled trans man. But I'm also a Medicaid patient. I'm also...
Well, you got a lot of issues, don't you?
Stamps. I'm also also a person who has been through houselessness in this country. I am also a person who has gone through substance use and addiction. And most of all, I am a patient of Planned Parenthood. I am everything that Donald Trump and Elon Musk want to erase.
The vast majority, yes.
I am everything they want to silence. With every executive order, with every safety net they slash, every hateful word they say, they want me to go away. So in case they're listening down the street, which I doubt they are, hello! I am here! I exist! We as people all exist! Thank you, loves. But they do keep trying. Every day there's something new to be pissed / terrified / heartbroken about. Last week, Donald Trump and Elon Musk came after an organization near and dear to my heart, Planned Parenthood. Show of hands, how many of you have been to a Planned Parenthood for care? Or has had a neighbor or a loved one go? I love you all! Thank you! I'm not at all surprised nor shocked, because 1 in 4 people have been to Planned Parenthood. It's for our communities and for our neighbors. I've been a Planned Parenthood patient many times over, for an IUD and birth control, for life-saving HIV protection through PrEP, for testosterone, for an overabundance of condoms and safer sex materials, for letters of support for my top surgery. Planned Parenthood has our backs. And I've always had Planned Parenthood's back, but I'm now here to support and show my love for this organization. And I'm also here to tell you what you need to do. You need to call your members of Congress. You need to call your local politicians.
Okay, so that's what Planned Parenthood does.
Tell them to protect Planned Parenthood patients by any means necessary. This isn't an ask, this is a tell. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell anybody who will listen to you. Tell them to keep their hands off of our health care. Hands off our health care. Hands off our health care. Hands off our bodies. Hands off our bodies. Hands off our bodies. Tell the billionaires down the streets that want to tell us what we can do with our bodies and our lives. Tell them to fuck off. Tell them we deserve better.
Okay.
That's why I'm here today. To remind them that they cannot take away our rights. They cannot take away who I am. Because I won't let them. We won't let them. We won't let them. Because one more thing about me is I've been coming out to protests and demonstrations from when I was a little kid for Prop 8 in California, when my rights were forged. I've used my voice to fight for my neighbors in my community. This is who I am. This is who we are. And I know there's always something that you and I can do to fight back.
Proposition 8.
We can knock
California ballot proposition and a state constitutional amendment.
Call our members of Congress and our local politicians to tell them to keep their hands off of our health care.
Intended to ban same-sex marriage.
You can share your story with anybody who will listen. Please. Tell anyone who will listen, anyone who cares, anyone who will give you the today why this matters to you. There are hundreds upon thousands of us, and we are not going away. We will not be erased. I love you all. Thank you so much.
Please welcome to the stage Executive Director Kaya Chatterjee, Free DC.
You all look so beautiful out there. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Yo, wait, California's got his own issues. What the frick?
And I'm here because I know that everyone here agrees that DC deserves better than what we're getting right now. DC deserves to manage and run and have our own budget. DC deserves to have our own laws. DC deserves to have elected officials that represent us, the people of DC, and our interests, people who we elected to represent our interests. And DC deserves to maintain our status as a sanctuary city. There's nobody who should be able to take that away from us because that is what we voted for here in DC.
Woman, how old are you?
Is attempting a power
'Cause
grab
damn,
in
you look so
many
fine.
ways, but is also attempting a power grab over the people of DC and DC communities. And it is up to us, it is up to all of us to stop them. Whether or not you live in DC, it is up to us. We have to stop them because when we talk about DC, we are talking about more than just any old city. We are talking about the capital city of this country.
If she's over 50, god damn, she looks so good over 50.
That house behind you all, they are consolidating power so fast. They are trying to control the capital city. That is how they want to stifle us. It's how they want to stifle protest like this. It's how they want to stifle dissent. And that's really dangerous to let them come after DC, the capital. This president is following an authoritarian playbook. He's doing the things that authoritarians have done through.
Yeah, I'm looking underneath her hair.
Concentrate power and to break down democracy.
Like it's a healthy black.
Federal agencies. Anyone seen that?
So she might not be that old.
Critics, allowing some people who he likes to operate above the law. This is what authoritarians do, and we cannot let him take over our capital. It is up to all of us to stop them. And here in DC, we are uniquely powerful. It has always, in every country where we've seen people rise up against authoritarianism, it has always been people in the capital city who rise up. And Free DC is here to build the movement that it will take to make it clear that we, all of us, inside, outside DC, we will not comply. I know that we can do this because, unlike the president, I know the people of DC. And some of you heard this morning the go-go beats that we danced to. We saw some of our students up here this morning, our beautiful students who are brilliant, and we know that our neighbors are connected to each other and in communities that love each other. Those are the things that make it impossible for a leader to oppress people. Those communities, those relationships, that beauty, that creativity. So we heard just a few minutes ago a lot about the importance of joy. I want to ask you all to say it with me, to be a part of this movement for joy, because we are going to need to push back. Here in DC, about 3 weeks ago, we did something pretty unprecedented. We flooded 100 Senate offices at once, and we didn't get them to save democracy because they didn't have the spine for that, but we did get them to actually pass a standalone bill that let us use our own local dollars in DC. They tried to take that away from us. But now that bill is in front of the House of Representatives, and the people, you're about to hear from some people who support us in allowing us to use our own dollars. But unfortunately, we're going to have to push for this. So I want to invite everyone here to join us on Monday morning. We're going to be up at the Capitol at Spirit of Justice Park. You can go to our website, freedcproject.org, and figure out how to join us. Join us in forcing this government to let us have our own local dollars. This is part of protecting DC, this is part of protecting the Capitol, and this is part of protecting democracy. And protecting our own sanity and our community is part of that too. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of our priorities.
I'm a little bit worried about this because this might end up further incentivizing a civil war. But then again, you know, Donald Trump actually promoted an insurrection, so, I mean...
I see you doing it right now, 100,000 of you.
Fair game, okay?
And I will organize my community. Thank you so much. That's what it's going to take to have a free DC. I'm going to say free, you say DC. Free? 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 I'm going to say DC, you say statehood. DC? 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 Thank you very much.
Please welcome to the stage Representatives Beyer, Omar, Green, Simon, Swalwell.
Oh, I thought that he said Slothwell. Well, same thing. Ew, look at those glasses! Blech. Oh, this guy! Oh, this guy! Oh, I remember him! Oh, the guy in the cane! What?
Donald Trump says he wants to make America great again. But
Oh, God, he's... Okay. Yo!
Herbert Hoover gave us the crash of 1929. Donald Trump gave us the stock market crash of 2025. Herbert Hoover gave us... He
was the one in the congressional Donald Trump speech that got thrown out of the Senate. About what? Sometime last month. Sometime in March? Early March?
Lee Zeldin's gutting the EPA. They had no EPA in the 1930s. They had the Dust Bowl. Donald Trump is cutting the CDC. They had no CDC. Instead, millions.
Is that Reacher? The guy who plays on Reacher? Oh my God.
Donald Trump's gutting the NIH. In the 1930s, cancer was a death sentence. And then there's the Department of Education. They fired half the people. All of their civil rights organization. They had no Department of Education civil rights, and all of our schools were separate but equal. And then there's diversity. In the 1930s, if you were a Jewish American or a black American, you were denied neighborhoods, jobs, society, education. Women could be secretaries, teachers, and nurses if they were unmarried. And if you were gay or a lesbian or trans, you led a life of complete secrecy and repression. We are not going back. We will be fearless, relentless, angry, smart, and we will be tireless. My favorite wisdom is all life asks of us is that we live it with courage. So let me give you one of the most courageous members of Congress, my friend Ilhan Omar from Minnesota.
Okay, we're gonna deviate off of this after the guy in the cane talks.
Thank you so much, Representative Beyer, for that introduction. Hello, everyone.
Man, she's a screamer.
It is so good to be here with over 100,000 American patriots. It is a reminder that the American fighting spirit is alive. Because, folks, we are in a fight. We are in a fight for our democracy. We are in a fight for our Constitution. We are in a fight for our families. We are in a fight for the kind of future we want in this country. We are currently living through a president who wants to be a dictator. In America, we do not accept dictators and we do not accept kings. We have a billionaire who has bought a seat next to the president, using him as a puppet. American democracy has...
Oh, she's referring to J.D. Vance.
It won't be today. We are seeing a cowardice. Congressional Republicans that
They're utilizing the chaos our fascist president is creating to cut Medicaid, Social Security, and take away our rights. While they give $4.5 trillion in tax cuts to their billionaire puppeteers. None of this is normal. This is why we have to fight for our Constitution. It is because here is the thing. No matter who you are, Elon Musk and Donald Trump and corrupt congressional Republicans are coming for you. If you are a mother struggling to put food on the table, they are coming for you. If you have elderly parents that you are trying to put in a nursing home, they are coming for you. If you are a senior relying on Social Security, they are coming for you. If you have disabled children and you're trying to make sure they have access to education, by cutting the education department, they're coming for you. So they want you to believe. They want you to believe to look at your neighbor as the enemy. They want you to believe that it is because of trans kids that you can't have the necessary access to the programs we already paid for.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid.
They want you to think it is okay to snatch people in the middle of the night and disappear them. They want to take away our pride as Americans in the Constitution and due process by putting people in foreign prisons in a dark hole. They want to crash the economy so that they can set up a process of punishment and reward. So they can grab more power for who will bend the knee and give them access. None of this is normal. So if you want a country that has the marvelous Constitution we have to fight for it. If you want a country that still believes in due process, we have to fight for it. If you believe in a country where we take care of our neighbors, look after the poor, and make sure our children have a future they can believe in, we have to fight for it. So are you ready to fight? Are you ready to fight? Let's go fight and win. And with that, it is my honor to introduce Representative Simon of California.
Hey, good people. So I've been in the United States Congress for about 3 months. I was sworn in on January 3rd with my colleagues to do one thing, is to fight like hell against tyranny. You elected members of Congress to stand with a backbone 10 toes down to fight and to win for the little girl right now who is in cancer treatment, who her parents are praying every minute for a cure to be met by an administration who refuses to fund cancer research. You elected members to fight like hell and to deny their vote to a slimy administration who has proved time and time again that their cruelness is beyond no end. You elected us to adhere not only to the Constitution, but the promise of the framers, the Hebrew text and the New Testament, the Quran and the words of the Baha'i, and every single religion that surrounds this great nation. Isaiah 10, verse 1 and 2. It's clear
The Hebrew Bible is clear. Woe who injects false and cruel laws that makes the fatherless poor. Woe who is those who injects false narratives that ensures that the widows have nothing. I tell you one thing here, as a new member of Congress and as an organizer 30 years deep in our neighborhoods, and yes, I'm from Oakland, that when evil is confronting us, guess what we do, America? We pull up. We pull up. So, for that family who has an elderly, beautiful relative who is struggling with ALS, for that family who is struggling with a disabled child, I want you to know, despite this administration's promise to end rights for people with disability, regardless of this administration's aim to stomp on the backs of our elderly, regardless of this administration's promise to end inclusivity and to
You know what's kind of sad?
children,
She's absolutely right about this.
not only brothers and sisters and siblings will we fight,
Because you know how sickening this is?
and the 2 million strong that are out in the
Actually,
today
this
to
company
win.
that I work for
At every city hall,
actually
at every governor's office,
promoted
and right here in
an actual PDF file to be a store manager.
not only are not we going back, we are going north. We will win because
It is absolutely ridiculous. This guy was promoted to a restaurant owner.
Congresswoman, by the way, thank you so much, Congresswoman.
A restaurant owner and a restaurant manager, and he was a Node PDF file.
This is what kicking the shit out of fascism looks like.
So I mean, think about it that for instance. That's a corrupt system. Meanwhile, I've been an honest, hardworking individual, right? But the thing is that the people that I work for, the company is has a lot of corrupt individuals in it.
We've seen the law firms cave. Will you cave? We've seen the colleges cave. Will you cave? We can't cave. My name's Eric Swalwell. I'm the son of a cop.
And honestly,
a baker.
I wish I could work for a different company.
The family on a soccer scholarship. And before every big game, before every season, the coach would tell us, I want you to close.
But here's the sad reality is, number one, I'm a trans individual. Number two, I live in fucking Texas. Okay? Yeah, I live in fucking Texas.
Of this march look like?
So, I'm not in a very good position right now.
It's justice. It's redemption. It's accountability. And it's renewal. Because as you stand here right now, we have gone from a Trump slump to a Trump train wreck. We are going into a red recession. Our 401ks are 201ks. Our costs at Walmart and Home Depot and Target, where 4 out of 5 of the things we buy overseas are going up.
I wish I could, be a store manager right now.
So to Donald Trump,
but that's going to be kind of hard for me getting into promotion with a company that promotes PDF files. It's insane.
America first. It's Trump first. This guy is a con. Trump Bibles, made in China. Trump sneakers, made in China. The Trump shitcoin, made on a computer, made in China. And he's not just disappearing people. He's disappearing rights. And to that we say, disappear, we're still here. Our veterans, we're still here. We're still here. We're still here. right? And he wants to disappear our veterans and women and hardworking immigrants and our seniors and our kids and the sick. We're still here. So you are asking us, what is the plan? And I'll tell you this, we are not going to give a single vote to fascism inside the Congress because we know you're fighting outside the Congress. And so small victories will bring us big victories. We had a victory last Tuesday in Wisconsin. Thank you. We need a victory later this year in New Jersey and Virginia in the governor's race. And then we're going to march all the way to the midterms, and we're going to win on November 4, and we're going to cut our time in hell in half. So what my colleagues and I want to ask you, because just about a mile from here on January 6, 2021, we saw the bravest police officers. They showed up and they defended our democracy. And you don't have to put on body armor. You don't have to take a stun gun to your neck or a Confederate flag to your head. You don't have to suffer a heart attack or a stroke or traumatic brain injury, as we saw from Officer Mike Fanone or Harry Dunn or Danny Hodges or Sergeant Gannell and so many others. But if you show up with the same integrity and the same passion and the same vigor and love for our country that they showed, we will win. So April 5, this day, April 5, will be the day that America came alive. And when I am asked on November 4, 2026, when we win the midterms, how did you know? How were you so confident that we were going to win? I'm going to tell them. Because on April 5, I stood in front of a monument to freedom with people from all over the country, with people who work so hard and dream so big, and they said, we're not going to be fucked with. Thank you.
Come on, let the guy in the cane speak.
And now, it's my honor to have us close out the congressional speakers to introduce to you someone who has been censured but is not silenced, Congressman Al Green.
Okay, this guy. Okay, this guy's a legend. This guy's a little. I like this guy because he's a little bit crazy, but the good kind of crazy. Watch out, people! He's doing his cane. He's gonna come after you with his cane.
Thank you. 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 You touched my heart. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am proud to be here today with my colleagues, all of whom are liberated Democrats. Let's hear it for these liberated Democrats. All of whom are unbought, unbossed, and unafraid. Unafraid.
Yeah, me too. I'm the Dragon of Destruction. Digging holes and taking souls. That's what I do.
Seniors that are among us. Unafraid to say to Donald John Trump, hands off Medicaid and Medicare. It belongs to our seniors. Social Security is not a Ponzi scheme. It is a part of the American dream. It belongs to our seniors. And we have to tell President Trump that Canada is not going to become the 51st state. Russia invaded Ukraine. Greenland is not for sale.
Greenland is not for sale. The land where the penguins.
And he also needs to know, dear friends, that Gaza is not going to become a resort. Gaza is not going to become a resort. There must be a home for the Palestinian people. Yeah, there must be. There must be. And I'm here to speak from my heart. This message is from my heart. It's not from my head. This is my heart. I want you to know something. I carry this cane because there are people who don't like me. They don't like my cane.
That's okay. This is funny.
After having celebrated my 25th birthday 3 times, 2 years into my 4th 25th, I carry this cane. And I carry this cane because I believe in the 23rd Psalm. That portion that reads, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because my rod and my staff comforts me." This is my comforter. This is my comforter. And I want you to know that I'm going to take this.
The sea of skulls, flames, and the screaming sounds of tortured souls is my savior. Yes.
That he's not going to have a 3rd term. There will be no 3rd term.
Fuck off with a 3rd term.
No 3rd term. No 3rd term. No 3rd term. No 3rd term. But more important than this, dear brothers and sisters, and I say brothers and sisters because there really is but one race, and that's the human race.
That is so true.
We're all related. We're all related, and LSB Leakey, a noted anthropologist.
But here's the thing: there's a number of people in the United States that like to think otherwise.
So if we're not brothers and sisters,
okay.
we're at least cousins. So dear cousins, hear this message for Donald Trump, for President Trump. This is more important. I want President Trump to know that I will use my staff of freedom to proudly bring forth a message.
I will raise the gates of hell to bring forth goodwill towards men.
He may not finish this term. He may not finish this term. He may not finish. He may not finish this term. Here's why. Here's why. Here's why. Here's why. Here's why. Here's why. Because you are now sowing the seeds that can lead to a Congress being elected that will have the courage to not only have articles of impeachment filed, but to impeach him a 3rd time. Impeach him a 3rd time.
Yay, destruction! I love it! Yes! Open the gates of hell!
And I want you to know from my heart, I understand that he is a Goliath. He is a Goliath. He has control of the generals and the military. He has control of the Justice Department. He has control of the Republican Party. But my friends, For every Goliath, there is a David. There's a David. These are your Davids. There's a David. And I want you to know, Mr. President, this David is going to bring articles of impeachment against you within the next 30 days. Within the next 30 days. I'm bringing articles of impeachment. I'm coming for you, Mr. President. This David is coming for you. You don't deserve the office you hold. You can't be entrusted with liberty and justice for all. You can't be entrusted with government of the people, by the people, for the people. I'm coming for you. I'm your David. God bless you.
Please welcome to the stage co-executive directors Leah Greenberg and Ezra Levin, Indivisible.
This guy's got a good vibe to him.
Everyone! It's good to be here with you today.
Oh god, this guy looks like he's from a children's TV show. Look at that hairdo. Oh my god, that is terrible.
I'm Leah Greenberg. I'm the co-executive director of Indivisible.
Bro, how much gel did you put in your hair?
I'm married to Leah. I'm also co-executive director.
Look at those sideburns.
We represent a movement.
I'm guessing your idol is, what's it called, Elvis Presley?
People who decided that politics and our democracy are too important to be left up to the politicians who raised their hand and said, I gotta do something. And if that sounds like you, I bet there's a group near you that could use it.
Oh no.
Organizers.
Are they gonna do a High School Musical thing? No! Stop! Stop! No! They're gonna do a High School Musical thing!
Over the last 3 months, Donald Trump has handed the federal government, the awesome powers of the federal government, over to the richest man in the world. And the richest man in the world has decided that you don't deserve clean drinking water. The richest man in the world has decided that your kids don't deserve good schools and special education. The richest man in the world has decided that our veterans don't deserve services and your grandma does not deserve fuel to heat her home. The richest man in the world's coming for our
I know I said I was gonna switch into something else after the guy in the cane. But I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for these two to break into song.
Civil rights, who protect our public lands and national parks, who resist cancer and the Alzheimer's.
This is gonna be so fucking goofy. If they're gonna do what I think they're gonna do, this is worth waiting for.
And they're doing it all. They are doing this all so that they can fund their next round of giveaways to their fellow billionaire buddies. So that Donald Trump and Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk can have another yacht and another fat tax cut.
Yeah, so how many yachts does Jeff Bezos have?
They know that this is not
50?
popular. They know that the vast majority of Americans do not want this. That is why they are attacking our democracy to cement their own power. They are attacking our freedom to vote. They are taking kids off the streets, students off the streets for their social media posts. They're imprisoning innocent fathers in a foreign prison. They're doing all of this. They are willing to rip our democracy to shreds so they can sell the pieces off.
Hey, y'all, Leah got a lot of booze there. Can I get some cheers for her? Okay, so look, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? You know, there are some Democratic leaders out there who say the smart strategy is to roll over and play dead.
That's what a lot of the Democrats have been noticing they were doing. Roll over and play dead.
Look around, y'all. The The institutions that should be upholding our democracy, they are rolling over and playing it. I got a list. I'm going to name some names. Collaborators, like law firms with Paul Weiss. Capitulators in legacy media institutions like the Washington Post and the LA Times.
Oof! Should have mentioned CNN, but okay.
Universities like Columbia. Kleptocratic businesses like Amazon and Facebook. Look, when institutions that are supposed to uphold our democratic norms fail and fall, it's up to the people to step up. Are we going to step up? Are we stepping up? Hey, are we stepping up? You bet your ass we
Also,
are.
your
You know
paper
why?
just flew off.
You know why? Because as much as Musk, as much as Trump, as much as congressional Republicans want us to think...
Did you guys ever think of using a freaking paperweight?
Are they all powerful? Here, let me ask you something. I believe that America is a constitutional republic. Is that right? What are the ideal number of kings in a constitutional republic? How many kings? How many kings?
Oh no. These two are goofy.
Zero sounds like the
What
right number to
the?
me.
Okay,
Now,
look.
everyone here,
To be fair,
100,000
it is entertaining.
right now.
It is engaging.
DC,
And I'm gonna remember these two. That's how advertisements work, right?
but it's not just in DC. Today, right
Look at
now,
this goofy
we are all
woman.
part of the single largest pro-democracy protest in years.
It's goofy. I don't necessarily like it, but it works.
Every single community, 1,300 worldwide, y'all, worldwide. Now, look, this is incredible. This display of people power is absolutely incredible. It is not the end point in the fight against the fascist attack on our democracy. It's not the end point. It could be an inflection point. It could be an inflection point if we make it an inflection point. Look, we are not victims of world events, y'all. The fascists, they want us to fear them. Do we fear them? They know that fear is contagious. You know what else is contagious? Courage. Each one of us gets to choose what we put out into the world. What do we choose? What do we choose? What do we choose? Okay, so what do we do with that courage?
Come on, bring out that choir.
Recess, it's just a few days away. It begins April 11th. Here's your task. I'm going to give you 3 tasks. If you ever worked with Indivisible, we love a good rally, but we like a plan too. We want to actually put a plan into action. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Step 1, there are 100,000 people here. I bet you don't know every one of them. I bet there are some new friends you can introduce yourself to right now. Look at these cool signs. Compliment your new friend on their sign. Exchange contact information. Do that before you go to leave this rally. You gonna do that? Okay, 2, on your way home, here's what I'm gonna ask you to do. Think of the 5 friends, people in your community who aren't here but could be here. Are you gonna do it? And 3, when you get home, it's up to you. Nobody is coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. We have to save ourselves. We have to go. Join your local Indivisible group or your local 5051 or your local Working Families Party group or start your own, but it's up to you. It's up to you. Are we going to accept from our supposed leaders when they tell us to roll over and play dead? Remind me, how many kings? How many kings? How many kings? Damn straight. Okay, now let's go back home and organize the protest. This one's over.
Alright, that was nice. I thought they were going to bring out another musical.
Thank you for joining Hands Off, the People Veto Rally in Washington, D.C.
That was it? Well, that wasn't too bad. I thought it was gonna be more cringe, but that's fine.